year, the Stampeders look like a team on a mission. Game 1, they tamed the Memphis Mad Dogs. Game 2, more of the same, as they trample the Shreveport Pirates. And in number 3, the Stamps hammer Ottawa to improve to a perfect 3-0. As for the Lions, they are also undefeated. Game 1, last-minute major to lift BC past Baltimore. After beating Memphis in Week 2, the Lions squeezed by Toronto on this last-second Louis Pasaglia field goal, setting up a showdown between two of the CFL's best.
CFL Live. Tonight's game from McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the BC Lions versus the Calgary Stampeders.
Good evening and welcome to the CFL Live on TSN. I'm Darren Detishin. Glad you could join us tonight. And like the commercial says, it doesn't get any better than this. The Stampeders have been waiting 8 long months for a chance at redemption. Tonight, they will get that chance, but can they do it? The Lions have won 6 straight games dating back to last year. Ironically enough, their last loss was to Calgary by a point. Tonight, they will do it all again, and there are so many great elements going into this contest, including our key matchup, the Lions' defensive backfield versus the play of Alan Pitts and Dave Sapunjas. The super slots are 1 and 2 in receptions this season, with Calgary averaging 43 points per game. So it's up to Enos Jackson and company to stop them. The Sparks, they have been flying all week long. Tonight, get set to watch the fireworks. Doug Flutie off to another sensational start. So is Lions running back Corey Philpott. For more on their performances so far this season, let's go to Gord Miller and Glenn Suter in Calgary.
Well, Darren, on this deja vu week at McMahon Stadium, we look back to the Western Final, last meeting between these two. Of course, BC Lion fans will always remember that game. The Calgary Stampeders would just as soon forget. But Glenn, really, Doug Flutie's done a pretty good job of putting it behind him as he's again setting a torrid pace.
That's right. 4-time most valuable player in this league. He does everything in the CFL. And this year, 1995 so far, completing 70% of his passes. That's incredible. On the other side of the coin, the BC Lions have a great running back in Corey Philpott. Philpott had over 1,400 yards rushing last year, and his offensive line loves him because they only have to open holes for a brief second, and he hits them.
Well, the last time the BC Lions won a regular season game here, Doug Flutie was their quarterback. It was 1991. But for the Calgary Stampeders, their last regular season loss here came in Flutie's first season in Calgary. The Stampeders have won a league record 24 straight at home. Darren?
Thanks very much, gentlemen. You know what? I can hardly wait. And it's hard to highlight everything, but here are some of the significant battles that'll take place. Of course, the Fluties, they will be a factor. Who will prevail tonight, Doug or Darren? The Stamps defense has to stop Corey Philpott, second in the league in rushing so far this year, first in touchdowns scored. And once again, you got to take care of Pitts and Sapunjas. So far this season, they have been unstoppable. Will Johnson, Marvin Pope, they've got to worry about the ground game, but they're also going to have to get to Danny McManus. It does have to be the game of the year thus far, so without further ado, let's go to Gord and Glenn for the opening kickoff in Calgary. Guys, I've been waiting for this one for a long time.
So, fans of the Calgary Stampeders, Darren, they've been waiting since the middle of last November, to be exact. It's a much nicer day here at McMahon Stadium than it was that cold afternoon in November when Darren Flutie and the BC Lions stole a berth in the Grey Cup from the Calgary Stampeders. But the Stamps have been awesome at home in the regular season. As we mentioned tonight, they gunned for their 25th consecutive win here. They're set to receive the kickoff. This will be only the 7th kickoff the Calgary Stampeders have received this year. Marvin Coleman from the 16-yard line. Coleman slips on the wet turf and gets stood up at about the 34-yard line. A 59-yard kickoff and a return of 19 yards. Doug Flutie, completing 70% of his passes, can move into 7th place on the CFL's all-time passing list with 216 yards tonight. He and Damon Allen have been going back and forth. Allen passed him on Wednesday. 3 former BC Lions on the offensive line. Crysdale, Chronopoulos, and Romano are all former Lions. The starting lineup is brought to you by Mr. Saab. Fresh thinking is what we are. The new man at receiver is Terry Vaughn, first-year player out of Arizona. 1st and 10 from the 34. Flutie sets up the screen and completes it there to Pitts. Alan Pitts out across the 40-yard line. Charles Gordon makes the stop. It's a gain of 6 yards. Well, a lot of changes for the BC Lions this year, most of them coming on defense. 4 linebackers for the BC Lions, and 3 of them are relatively new to the Canadian Football League, and they also had to retool their defensive backfield after losing key cover men like Les Brown and Barry Wilburn, along with James Jefferson. Jefferson and Wilburn have signed with NFL teams. 2nd and 4. And Flutie has it up in the flat to David Sapunjas, and Sapunjas with his first catch gets out to the 50-yard line. Tony Collier comes up to make the stop along with Shelton Quarles, a gain of 9 and a Calgary first down.
Boy, this offense is fired up for this game. Calgary offense, Dave Sapunjas and Alan Pitts. Alan Pitts leading the league in receiving so far in 1995, and a lot of weapons for Doug Flutie.
Some rain today in Calgary. Leave the artificial turf here fairly damp, but the weatherman saying there shouldn't be any more showers this evening. First down, Tony Stewart with his first carry, and Tony Stewart goes nowhere. Glenn Scribner throws him down, and flags are down as well. And we could have a face masking call here against the BC Lions. The referee tonight is George Black, and it is indeed a face masking call against the Lions. And penalties, nothing new to the BC Lions.
Most penalized team in the CFL in 1995, Gord.
Major foul, face mask, number 72, British Columbia. First down.
So a loss of 5 becomes a first down, and Dave Ritchie has seen this movie before.
38 penalties for his team in 1995, and that's something that he can't be happy with. And anytime you give Doug Flutie any other advantages, it can only hurt your team. And now they're playing on half the field, and Ritchie said that was a problem. Doug Flutie playing on half the field can hurt you.
1st and 10 now from the BC 45. 4 receivers to the wide side. They go back to the short side of the field, and Tony Stewart got drilled. Stewart got piled by Shelton Quarles. The ball came loose. They rule no catch. But Shelton Quarles, the first-year man out of Vanderbilt, rocked Tony Stewart's world.
And they really happy with Shelton Quarles. He's got a 4.5 40 time speed. Great speed. He's going to cover Stewart in the flat, and watch the hit. Dislodges the ball. Stewart doesn't have a chance. Leading the team in tackles is Quarles with 13 so far for the Lions.
Wally Buono's team impressive in the regular season, even more impressive in July. We'll talk about that in a moment. For now, it's 2nd down. Flutie has a man at the near sidelines. It's Pee Wee Smith out of bounds at the 37-yard line. He'll be a couple of yards short of a first down. Eddie Thomas was there on the coverage.
And what Doug Flutie does is he puts 3 receivers to the wide side of the field and then gets the one-on-one on the back side of the field, working on Eddie Thomas with Pee Wee Smith. He runs the out and does a nice job of keeping both feet in bounds, and good concentration by Smith.
But he comes up a couple of yards short of the first down, which brings out Mark McLaughlin and the field goal unit, which has been perfect in 1995. He's 7 for 7 this season, but McLaughlin, as much as anyone, has nightmares about last year's Western Final. He missed 3 field goals in the 4th quarter of that game. This attempt from 44. McLaughlin puts it up and misses it to the left. Spencer McLennan will concede the single point. McLaughlin has missed for the first time this year. Calgary with a 1-0 lead over BC on the CFL Live.
Being a pilot, it's not just handling the stick controls, it's what goes on up here. I'd say I tend to be a detail sort of person, and in this business, if you don't pay attention to detail, you're dead. In this past year, we've done training for people from both the U.S. and Canada. Our Advantage 800 number gives us the opportunity to reach these people who are spread over North America. It gives us an instant credibility, and it puts us in with the major U.S. competitors, the big boys, if you want.
The CFL live on TSN. Brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. And by Bell Advantage Long Distance Services, from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
After the miss by Mark McLaughlin, the BC offense led by Danny McManus comes out on the field. The 30-year-old McManus begins this season as a starting quarterback for the first time in his Canadian Football League career. The numbers for him: 2 touchdown passes, but 5 interceptions. Turnovers have been a problem for the BC Lions all season long. The big story in the offensive line: Todd Burdick and Corey Mantika on the left side, both in their first season as starters. A veteran receiving corps for the BC Lions. All 4 receivers have had 1,000-yard receiving seasons in the Canadian Football League. And the give is to the fullback, Ryan Hansen, and Hansen puts his head down. Gets a gain of a couple, just his second carry of the season. He's primarily a blocking back. The defense for the Calgary Stampeders is stingy, to say the least, and it's led by veterans. Will Johnson led the CFL with 17 sacks last year. Watch for Alondra Johnson, who spent a lot of time in the backfield as well. Greg Knox was an All-Canadian last year. 10 interceptions, second in the Canadian Football League. On second down, McManus over the middle, intercepted. Picked off by Matt Finley. His second interception of the season, and the Calgary Stampeders get the ball right back. It's the 6th time McManus has been picked off this year.
Interceptions hurting McManus again early, and Matt Finley has moved from the outside linebacker position into the middle. They feel he's solid on the run and consistent player, and he just sits in the middle zone, and McManus obviously didn't see him, throws it right to him.
What's ironic is that it appeared that play was intended for Darren Flutie, and it might even have been the same pattern he ran to score that last-second touchdown. This time, the linebacker got the ball. Matt Finley in his 10th CFL season gives his team excellent field position. 1st and 10 at the BC 47, and there's that short field you were talking about before. Flutie from the shotgun. Lots of time. He's looking for Tony Stewart. He was being held up by Shelton Quarles. Stewart would like a flag on the play, but there are none.
You know, usually offenses would like to get this matchup. They're running back on a linebacker. With Sheldon Quarles' speed, it doesn't always work out. He runs 4.5 in the 40, and this guy can run with any linebacker in the league, so head coach Dave Ritchie doesn't have any problem putting him one-on-one on the running back.
Well, the BC defense is getting tested early on here. Calgary with a couple of possessions, and the game is not yet 5 minutes old. Lots of early movement, and Doug Flutie fortunate the whistle went because Dave Chaters was right in his face, and Flutie uses the shotgun as a very effective offensive weapon.
He sure does. He said that when he came to Calgary, he rediscovered the shotgun and what it can do for him. He starts out actually deeper than most quarterbacks who run the shotgun.
Offside, British Columbia, number 74. Repeat, second down.
And then what he does is retreats right after he gets the shotgun, so it's awfully hard for that defensive line to get him. And when you have the defensive line knowing he's that deep, they're trying to get the quickest start they can. That time it was just a little too soon.
2nd and 5, Stampeders.
On 2nd and 5, Flutie quarterback draw, lots of room. Flutie's off and running. And the safety man, Tom Europe, brings him down at the 18-yard line. Doug Flutie on the quarterback draw. A gain of 24 yards and a Calgary first down.
And you're going to see a real nice block by right tackle Rocco Romano right here on your screen. He's going to open it up, and Doug Flutie's going to see the middle open wide up for him and just take off up inside, and then it's just one-on-one with Doug Flutie in the open field. And nice job by Tom Europe just bringing him down, because he's tough to tackle one-on-one when he gets in the open.
Flutie's longest run of the season so far. 1st and 10 Calgary. Tony Stewart tries his way up the middle. A late flag is down. The ball is loose. The ball has come out, And the BC Lions have it. And we'll wait to see what the flag is all about. The indication is it's against the BC Lions. So it appears the turnover will not stand depending on when the ball came out. George Black is talking it over. It appears Calgary will maintain possession. So a fumble by Tony Stewart may be nullified.
Tripping. British Columbia, number 74. First down.
Chaters is called for tripping.
Yeah, well, usually what happens is that it's almost like a leg whip. You whip that leg around, try and take out the blocking or the back. You can't leg whip in the CFL. It's dangerous. You can hurt a player, and that's why the penalty was called. But the fumble was definitely there, and it was another missed opportunity for the BC Lions because of penalties.
A very costly penalty. First and goal for Calgary from the 9. 3 receivers to the wide side of the field, and now 4 with Pitts out there. That's where Flutie's looking. Wide open is Pitts. Touchdown. Alan Pitts with his 5th touchdown of the year. The 64th of his career to tie Hal Patterson on the all-time list. Just like that.
What a play by Alan Pitts. Doug Flutie is going to roll out a little half roll to his right side of the field. Now what happens is Enos Jackson is responsible for coming across the formation with Alan Pitts, but he was trying to communicate across the other side with Robert Davis and hoping for a switch. It didn't happen. That left Enos Jackson slightly behind Pitts, and he gets in the open and scores the big touchdown for Calgary.
Turnovers and penalties cost the BC Lions, and the Calgary Stampeders have an 8-0 lead.
And Mr. South, fresh thinking is what we are.
Introducing the new Mercury Mystique. It has available all-speed traction control, a Micron air filter that removes dust and pollen, and the new 24-valve, fuel-efficient Duratec V6 engine. Yet, even though Mystique is equipped like a luxury car, it's priced thousands of dollars less. Because the last time we looked, money still didn't grow on trees. Drive the all-new Mercury Mystique.
Hey, you want to know how to protect something? You wrap it up. You want to protect it? You wrap it up. So, you want to protect it? Wrap it up.
In his 6th CFL season, Alan Pitts has just moved into the top 10 in all-time touchdown catches with his 64th of his career.
Keep my prayers coming, because I need them up here in this madness up here.
Madness? It is when you're that open.
Yeah, and you'll see Alan Pitts go in motion across the formation. Enos Jackson is responsible for coming over and covering, but he's asking for a switch. He doesn't get it, and it leaves him slightly behind, which is why Pitts is open in the flat. Nice job by Alan Pitts. Get his team on the board first. You know, Gord, last 2 games for these guys, Pitts and Sapunjas together have combined for 618 yards and 6 touchdowns. And Shreveport and Ottawa, who were their last 2 teams they played, combined to only have 552 yards and 2 TDs.
Corey Philpott from the 15. Philpott got loose for a moment, but he's stopped by Raymond Biggs, the backup linebacker. The BC Lions with a costly turnover that led to that Calgary touchdown drive. Dave Ritchie's told us this morning we cannot let Calgary have the short field. The 2 things BC wanted to do, keep Doug Flutie off the field and don't turn the ball over. Well, those 2 things did not happen on that last series. The BC Lions are down 8, and we're not yet halfway through the first quarter. The give to Philpott, and nowhere. Marvin Pope got in early. There are flags on the play.
There's the flag now.
That last drive, just 47 yards, and Alan Pitts comes up with his 5th touchdown catch of the season. And Doug Flutie's percentage isn't being hurt at all.
Procedure, British Columbia, number 68. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Don't forget, fans, the football fireworks only the.
What do you think Dave Ritchie will bring up at the meeting tomorrow?
Well, it's coming off the top of your screen, Gord. This is Big Daddy Pope coming in there. They put him outside linebacker because they love the way he rushes the quarterback, but that time ran straight into Corey Philpott.
2nd and 11. Here comes the rush. They get the screen pass up to Hansen, and Hansen gets tripped up by Stu Laird. A great defensive play by the 12-year veteran. It's a gain of 6, but it leaves BC well short of a 1st down.
Big Stu Laird. I talked to him yesterday and when they were having their little rundown practice, and he said, you know, I'm going to play this game until they rip the jersey off my back. Good job by Stu Laird to run down Hansen on the play and force him to punt.
Big Stu at age 35, a Calgary firefighter. I'm not sure if he's a firefighter or a football player first. They say he's pretty good at both. Lou Pasaglia is in the punt. The 41-year-old sends a tumbling kick. Coleman waits for it back at the 25. Marvin Coleman got away from McLennan. Got away from the 2nd wave and just got tripped up by Matt Clark. A 48-yard punt and a return of 12 yards. The BC Lions in 2 offensive series have run just 4 plays and have already been picked off once. And Doug Flutie and the Calgary offense are back on the field for a 3rd time in the first 7 minutes of the 1st quarter.
Yeah, Doug Flutie doing a great job with his offense and using the weapons that we have seen in 1995 already. And Alan Pitts, the one guy he hasn't gone to is Dave Sapunjis, but I'm sure it's his turn in this drive.
And Flutie in the shotgun on 1st down. Stewart. And he ran right in to Dave Chaters. And look at the helmet come flying off. And Henry Newby applied the finishing touches, sending Stewart's helmet rolling back to the 26-yard line. No gain for Stewart on the play. Well, Doug Flutie, a 4-time MVP so far tonight. 32 yards passing. He's 4 for 6. So he's actually below his percentage for the season. He's only 66% so far tonight. He's slowing down. Last year, he set 4 Canadian Football League records for attempts, completions, yards, and touchdowns. Early movement. Should be a free play. Flutie has room. Now guns it over the middle for Pee Wee Smith. Smith makes the catch into BC territory at the 53. Tom Europe there for the stop. It's a pickup of 19 yards, and it should stand as the BC Lions were indeed offside.
Yeah, you're going to get another offside penalty.
Offside, British Columbia, number 11. Penalty is declined. 1st down.
5th penalty of the game against the BC Lions.
Yeah, you'll see Benefield just jumping offside a little bit and can't get back. Of course, if you get back without touching anybody, it's not offside, but that time he couldn't.
Flutie has it knocked down, and Benefield comes right back after the offside on the play before. Benefield knocks that pass down as Flutie was trying to set up the receiver screen.
12 tackles and 1 sack already for Benefield in 1995, and if it's a quick pass, you're taught the defensive lineman, get your hands up, and Benefield does that and also gives himself a little vertical in there to knock that one down. See Flutie trying to get it out there, and a nice jump by Benefield to knock it down for 2nd down.
2nd and 10. Here comes the rush. Flutie has time. Has Sapunjis open. It's a foot race. And Sapunjis all the way down to the 5-yard line. The tackle is finally made on the play by Tony Collier, but not before Sapunjis has a gain of 47 yards.
Big play by Sapunjis, and you'll see why. You see at the top of your screen, Tommy Europe, the safety, is sneaking up. He's not giving post help, and as soon as Dave Sapunjis sees that, he goes right to the middle and gives a nice target for his quarterback, and it's a foot race. And when you have that much field, that's tough for any defensive back to cover. When the safety comes out of the middle, Dave Sapunjis sees it and gets into that open area.
Flutie's already close to 100 yards passing. Some of the fans are just sitting down. First and goal from the 5. Flutie into the end zone and complete for the touchdown. Vince Danielson, his first touchdown catch of the season. And Flutie is right on his season average, now 7 for 10 passing in the game. Wow.
Boy, when he gets on a roll, he is so tough. He's going to do a little play action pass, try and get the picks out to the right side of the field. Danielson, who comes in that 5 receiver situation, gets some separation from his man and really was the only guy open on the play, but Doug Flutie found him, and it's another 6 points.
Mark McLaughlin set a CFL record for converts last year, and he may do it again this year. That's his 291st in a row. 5:04 to play in the first quarter. 15-0 Calgary.
The all-new Mercury Mystique drives like no other car in this class. With 4-wheel independent suspension, a 16-valve Z-Tech engine that delivers the best highway fuel economy in its class, as well as 14 other features not found on any other car in its class. As for the rest, class dismissed. Drive the all-new Mercury Mystique.
Recently, Subway asked us, Bucky and Vinny, to review their turkey and bacon deluxe.
Well, we decided to do a little research.
This is where turkey is.
Where's the bacon? Well, what do we think?
It's great. We got nice seasoned turkey with all the trimmings. A fresh baked bread topped with slices of real bacon.
That's what makes it deluxe.
Hey, look, even brought napkins. Subway, what a sandwich.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by 3M Canada. Imagining the unthinkable and developing the unknown. That's 3M Innovation at Work.
Former UBC quarterback Vince Danielson catches his first touchdown pass of the year from a pretty good former BC quarterback, Doug Flutie.
Danielson's a middle receiver in your screen. He's going to go on Collier, give a nice push-off, but the big part of this play is the catch. Lays out, gets down on the ground, gets the hands underneath the ball, and Doug Flutie loves it when his receivers come up with ones like that.
You know, it's interesting. The BC Lions have been talking a lot about last year's Western Final for the Calgary Stampeders. They'd prefer to look back to a regular season game between these two in week 4 last year. Both teams were 3-0 coming in. BC beat them 62-21. Here's Corey Philpott. Flags are down, and so is Philpott. Dropped at the 25-yard line, and there's another late flag down. An 18-yard return, and the tackle made by Al Jordan. So the drive, 72 yards, and Danielson with a 6-yard touchdown catch. Flutie's 7 for 10 passing so far. Flutie told me yesterday that no quarterback in the history of the league has ever had 4 1,000-yard receivers in the same season. That's a goal that he'd like to achieve this year. BC came close a couple of years ago. They came 65 yards short of doing it. But Flutie always sets a goal for himself at the start of the year. That's his this year.
British Columbia, number 48. First down.
So you're getting beaten 15-0, and you're getting penalized like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, you just see to the right of your screen. Right there, you get the clip. And it's another penalty for Brian Ford. Got the clip. It's another penalty for the BC Lions. And again, penalties. The most penalized team in the league coming into this one. And penalties hurt them already in this first half.
So now, Danny McManus and the BC Lions start from their own 10. McManus fakes, has this one tipped, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Robert Gordon. That looked like it was deflected at the line. And a nightmare start for the BC Lions, who find themselves in a deep hole against the league's toughest defense.
Yeah, and we were watching some game film of the Ottawa-Calgary game and the pressure that these Calgary Stampeders were putting on Danny Barrett, and looks like we're going to see a lot of the same this evening as Stu Laird gets some good pressure on Danny McManus there.
Second down, Barrett out to the sideline. Another flag is down. It's complete to Robert Gordon. This flag was thrown deep in the BC, or the Calgary defensive secondary. And it's illegal contact downfield. The penalty is against the Calgary Stampeders. That's the first penalty against Calgary on the evening. And David Benefield had some comments about that in the paper this week. He said that the officials favor Calgary, and that caused some controversy here in Calgary.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver, Calgary number 30. Penalty is declined. First down.
You'll see Ken Leonard just to the right of your screen. The receiver gets inside him, and he just tries to pull him down a little bit right there, and that's the illegal contact. Looked like Trevathan was the intended receiver.
First down for BC. McManus holds the ball, flags are down again. Trevathan has the catch. He gets all the way up to the 35-yard line. It's flag day here in Calgary. The pickup is 14, and it's coming back. Holding is the call against BC.
Boy, a lot of pressure on this BC offensive line after watching that game film from last week with the pressure that Calgary got on Ottawa. And
holding, British Columbia number 59. First down repeated.
Todd Furtick, the first-year starter at left tackle, and he's got his hands full with Will Johnson and Stu Laird.
You know, the Calgary Stampeders moved some things around this year. They put Big Daddy Pope on the outside for his pass rushing ability, and Will Johnson, when you balance him up with Will Johnson on the short side, well, that's quite a tandem of pass rushing ability for the Calgary Stampeders.
6 defensive backs in for Calgary, and they give the ball off on first down. The give goes to Ryan Hansen. It was 1st and 20. He gets 6, but it will bring up 2nd and 14. Will Johnson up to make the stop. And of note for the BC Lions today, their fullback from last season, Sean Millington, was released by the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Eric Tillman, the BC general manager, said he would be glad to greet Millington's plane when it lands in Vancouver, but Millington may yet seek employment with other NFL teams. But the BC Lions could certainly use their outstanding Canadian. 2nd and 14. McManus has a man over the middle. What a catch! What a grab by Robert Gordon. And he's got a first down up at the 34-yard line, a pickup of 18 yards.
What an incredible catch by Robert Gordon coming over the middle. And credit to Danny McManus, because at the beginning of this drive, Robert Gordon dropped an easy catch. He goes right back to him and goes up there with the big one hand and pulls it down. A tremendous catch by Robert Gordon over the middle. You can't teach that. That's just athletic ability, and what a job by Gordon.
Last year, Robert Gordon had 1,000 yards receiving for the first time in his career. Now McManus looking deep for Matt Clark, and Clark has to play defense there as he knocked it away from Kim Phillips. The Calgary defensive back was waiting for the interception, and it was up to Matt Clark to keep it away from him.
Great start to the season for Matt Clark. 14 catches so far for 246 yards going into this game, and sometimes when that ball hangs up there, it's tough for the defensive back to time it up, and Clark very nearly comes up with that catch, but nice job by Kim Phillips to get the hand in there and knock it down.
On 2nd and 10. Here comes the rush. McManus gets it away. Completes it to Clark, and Clark's got room to run. Across midfield, he gets up to the 38-yard line. Gerald Vaughn finally forced him out of bounds at the 51, but it's a gain of 25 as the BC offense begins to show signs of life.
Well, when you get your starting quarterback standing in the pocket like he does in this case and having Will Johnson bearing down on him, the safety blitz from Greg Knox coming as well, and he still stands in there and gets the ball to the wide field out to Matt Clark, and then Matt Clark does a little extra for his quarterback. But what a start to the season for Clark. You know, with his contract problems last year, he really wanted to come in this year and prove himself as a premier receiver in the league.
Missed the first 5 games of last season, holding out. Here's Corey Philpott. Philpott tried to bounce away from Alondra Johnson. He did, but Johnson slowed him up just enough to allow his Calgary defensive mates to come over and make the stop. It's a pickup of 3 yards.
And you know, an interesting stat, going into last year, 1994, when the Stampeders beat BC Lions 2 times during the regular season, the Lions only rushed for 50 and 49 yards, respectively. When they won in the West Final, they rushed for 118 yards. That's how important the running game is for these BC Lions.
He's been over 100 yards in each of the last 2 weeks and leads the league with 7 rushing touchdowns. 6 DBs in again for Calgary. McManus over the middle. Darren Flutie's got the catch. Down to the 27-yard line, but it's coming back. Another flag. Holding is the call against the BC Lions. It wipes out a 24-yard gain for Darren Flutie.
Holding. BC number 34. Second down repeated.
The fullback, Ryan Hansen, is flagged this time.
And with Millington heading south this year, Ryan Hansen is going to get the holding call. Ryan Hansen gets the holding call, and when he's got a guy like Will Johnson to block, it's not easy. He's going to pull him down. Will Johnson, the premier pass rusher in the league, and Ryan Hansen had his work cut out for him there. Had to grab him.
Second down. McManus has a man. Matt Clark, he dropped the ball. Matt Clark flat out dropped it. And the punting unit comes on the field after BC put together a 10-play drive and got into Calgary territory for the first time.
Yeah, Matt Clark's not happy with himself, obviously, on that play, because clearly he just did the old cardinal sin for a receiver. Look downfield before you catch the ball. Coaches will tell receivers, listen, you're going to get hit whether you catch it or not. So hang on to it. You won't see Matt Clark drop many of those.
Pee-wee Smith and Marvin Coleman are back deep to receive the punt from Lou Pasaglia, which bounces down around the 25-yard line and goes out of bounds at the 23. A 33-yard punt by Pasaglia, and there was no return. But what a story it was between these two teams last season. Of course, the 62-21 game, Alan Pitts ran wild against the BC Lions, who lost 3 defensive backs to injuries in that game. And November 5th at BC Place, Calgary won at 24-23 coming from behind. But then, the game that mattered most, what was quite likely the last ever Western final. Saw BC beat Calgary 37-36. And how ironic it is this season that the 3 teams with 3-0 records in the CFL are the 3 westernmost teams. On 1st and 10, Flutie gets it out to Stewart at the 25. Stewart still going. Gets up close to the 40-yard line, forced out at the 39 by Enos Jackson. It's a gain of 16 yards. And the BC Lions are getting a lesson in spreading the ball around.
They sure are, and they're getting the zone defense. And when you get the zone, all the defensive backs for the BC Lions turned their back and didn't see Stewart coming out into the flat.
He's 8 of 11 already for 120 yards. And as I said, there are still fans arriving here at McMahon Stadium. Should be the final play of the first quarter. The give goes back to Stewart, waiting for a block. He gets it. But the BC pursuit comes back to stop him. Shelton Quarles and David Benefield make the stop. It's a gain of 2 on the final play of the opening quarter, which was all Calgary Stampeders. 15-0, the Stamps lead the BC Lions here in Calgary. We'll be back in a moment, but first, let's take you back to CFL control.
2 yards on first down.
This CFL Live update is brought to you by Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Welcome back to CFL Control. Can't believe the lack of discipline by the BC Lions thus far. On to a little Major League Baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays, after taking back-to-back beatings by the California Angels, were happy to welcome Seattle into the Sky Dome tonight, because in the bottom of the 3rd, bases loaded, Eddie Sprague, he'll take Solomon Torres deep to left, gone. It's a grand slam. That will make it 4-0 for the Jays. Toronto went into tonight's action 11 games back. That is the 2nd career grand slam for Eddie Sprague. The Montreal Expos also in action this evening. 5-4 in the 7th. We'll take a break. Back in a moment.
Recently, Subway asked us, Bucky and Vinny, to review their turkey and bacon deluxe.
So we decided to do a little research.
This is where turkey is.
Where's the bacon? What do we think?
It's great. We got nice seasoned turkey with all the trimming. On fresh baked bread topped with slices of real bacon.
That's what makes it deluxe.
Hey, look, even brought napkins. Subway.
What a sandwich.
Here's a look at the other games this week in the Canadian Football League. Tomorrow it's Toronto at Shreveport. You've got the Eskimos. Also 3-0 Monday, Memphis and Hamilton. Let's go back to McMahon. Gord, things going very well for the Stamps. The Lions taking way too many penalties.
More details to come.
15-0 is the score, Darren, and you look at the BC Lions, there's one number that stands out for them, and it's the number that stood out all season long. Penalties, 8 for 59. 2 of the penalties were declined as the Lions didn't do anything on the plays, and BC has already allowed 120 passing yards to the league's #1 offense, the Calgary Stampeders. And it's absolutely astounding when you look at how the BC Lions have been under Wally Buono. 40-5 at home under Wally Buono, and their offense seems to get better every year if it seems possible.
Yeah, when you have a guy like number 20 pulling the trigger for you, it makes things a little easier. But Wally Buono's still undefeated in July, isn't he?
One loss.
One loss
to you guys.
And how could I forget?
That was to you guys in Saskatchewan. Oh, you're going to get all Calgary begins 2nd and 8 here in the second quarter. And Flutie over the middle. As Vince Danielson has got a touchdown catch in the game, Shelton Quarles makes the stop right at midfield. And Vince Danielson, who was a pretty good university quarterback for UBC, switched to inside receiver because he thought it would improve his pro prospects.
That's right. So far, 6 catches for 55 yards coming into this game. And BC Lions are having a little trouble getting their men in man-to-man defense. That time they played a zone, and Danielson from that middle receiver position found the hole.
It was a gain of 14. Here's Flutie, back to the air he goes, and it's incomplete. The first pass thrown the way of Terry Vaughn, and Vaughn dropped it. And Flutie, out of the shotgun, gives himself another 7 yards or so after he takes the snap.
That's right. People often wonder about Flutie's arm strength. Look at this, falling down to the ground and still gets it to the wide field out. He's got plenty of arm strength, and he'll let you know when you see the stats at the end of the game how strong it is.
In fact, Wally Buono says Flutie's arm is actually stronger thanks to a vigorous off-season workout program. Second down, Flutie, lots of time, the man wide open. It's Pee Wee Smith, still going. Pee Wee all the way down to the 25-yard line. The tackle is finally made by Charles Gordon, but it's a gain of 29 for Pee Wee Smith.
With all the great talent the Calgary Stampeders have, they like to isolate that talent. What they do is they put all the receivers to one side, leave Pee Wee Smith in that one-on-one situation on the backside, and Eddie Thomas slipped and fell down. He couldn't get up in time. Pee Wee runs the slant, and then these guys are so dangerous once they get the ball in their hands.
His third catch for 56 yards. Flutie has room to run and gets his head down just in time because it was very nearly taken off. Henry Newby had Doug Flutie lined up and almost put him in orbit.
Comes into the game with 7 tackles so far in 1995, and not very often you get a chance to hit Doug Flutie like this because he runs around so well, but when you do, you want to take advantage of it, and boy, Newby sure did. That's just to give you an idea of how it sounds to get hit that hard.
And Doug Flutie may be hearing a strange ringing sound right now. 2nd and 10 from the 25. Flutie. Lots of time for Pitts, and it is almost intercepted. Charles Gordon was over there, and Pitts and Flutie got their signals crossed. Pitts went inside. The throw went to the sideline, and the field goal unit will be coming out on the field for the Calgary Stampeders. But we were talking this morning about some of the great hits on Doug Flutie. There haven't been many, but this should rank with them.
Oh, yeah, Henry Newby. Listen to him come up and make the hit right there. Runs right over Flutie, but credit to Flutie. He jumped up and got right back in there, and now he's coming back over saying, let me just make sure I know exactly where I am and everything's okay, because you know he has to be a little dinged after that hit.
He doesn't look good. Kevin Reed is coming in to hold for Mark McLaughlin. That is normally Flutie's job, and Flutie was very woozy going to the Calgary sideline. McLaughlin from 33 yards out. After the earlier miss, McLaughlin puts it through. Flutie trying to get his bearings. His team leads 18-0.
baseball more than stadium field section. Sponsored by Xerox.
20-foot baskets, 300-point games, 100-yard courts. In the future, athletes will make the game faster, farther, tougher. But today's athlete can choose new All-Sport. Fluid replacement, unsurpassed taste, 4 thirst-quenching flavors. All-Sport is a body quencher. So before it gets to this, new All-Sport, the game will never be the same.
McCain has tasty pizza snack. They call them Pizza Pockets. McCain! Pizza Pockets. The great pizza taste to keep you coming back. McCain! Pizza Pockets. Pizza perfection in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess. Just taste. All taste and nothing but McCain! Pizza Pockets. No leaks, no mess. Just pizza perfection.
Tomorrow, we will take you to Shreveport as the Toronto Argonauts roll into town. This is Eric White going to Darren Branch. We don't know if it'll be White at the starting quarterback position or Kent Austin. As it stands, Austin is 50-50 at this present time. I think Doug Flutie's somewhere in there, too. Let's go back to McMahon.
I'm not sure Doug Flutie could add 50 and 50 right now. He says he's okay, but they've got the ice on the back of his head. He took a ferocious shot from Newby.
Dave Ritchie dressed 8 linebackers because he loves the way the linebackers can play special teams and then come up and deliver the blow like that. Newby runs straight through Doug Flutie on that play, and he's definitely woozy on the sideline now.
The kick is taken by Spencer McClellan at the 18-yard line, and McClellan gets by the first wave and fights his way up to the 40-yard line as the tackle is made on the play by number 41, Anthony McClanahan. 23-yard stop, and you can see that Flutie was in trouble here.
Yeah, right after the hitch, Sean Daniels wants to help him up, but Flutie needs to take another second. He's seeing, instead of 12 guys on defense, when he looked over there, he saw 24, and he thinks he better rest him.
I saw Doug Flutie take a ferocious shot when he played for BC in Winnipeg. Great battle. Hit him so hard he broke Flutie's face mask. Flutie got up on the play, bounced right up, but almost ran to the wrong sideline. Tosses to Corey Philpott, who ran into his own man. Will Johnson comes in to mop up, and the damage is already done. It's a pickup of 3 yards. But it appeared that he ran into Corey Mantika, his own left guard. And now, Danny McManus comes onto the field early in the second quarter. His team's already down 18-0, and this is where the Calgary defense feasts on it.
That's right, but you know, these BC Lions, on the other hand, Gord, have played in tight games all year. They won by 1 point last week versus Toronto. They know how to come back, so they're not worried. Just keep with their game plan, keep driving the football.
2nd and 7. McManus in trouble. Gets it away, but it's knocked away by Marvin Coleman. They were looking there for Robert Gordon. It's another 2 and out for the BC Lions. And we'll see if Doug Flutie's going to come out for the Calgary Stampeders. Jeff Garcia has been warming up on the Calgary sideline.
George, rest him as long as I can.
Doug Flutie still has the ice pack on his neck, and that usually means he's just got a slight concussion.
He says he's just resting as long as he can, and Garcia stays out there with the baseball hat on, so it would appear we will see Doug Flutie when the Calgary offense comes back. Here's Luke Pasaglia. It's a side-winding punt away to Marvin Coleman at the 30. Coleman trying to get outside. Spencer McClellan got a piece of him. And it's a 2-yard return. Is mopping up for the Lions was Mike Trevathan. Doug Flutie will come back on the field when we return to McMahon Stadium in Calgary on the CFL Live.
115 years of tradition. One distinctive recipe. 0 preservatives. Too smooth for words. 100% Canadian brewed. 5% alcohol. Equals 1 good beer. It's all we do, 'cause this bud's for you.
Citizens living in the grip of fear. A justice system littered with criminals. The evil underworld of the city infesting the streets. It's time to take out the trash. In Sega's Adventures of Batman and Robin video game, vile villains are bent on trashing Gotham City. Fight through incredible 3D animation as Batman or Robin, or team up against the Joker and other vermin. The Adventures of Batman and Robin.
The Canadian Football League 1995 Facts, Figures, and Records book. It's your source for the landmark play, the vital stats, the award-winning players, the complete rules, and the outstanding performances, all the way to the Grey Cup. To order your copy, call 1-800-667-1251.
Two of the CFL's 3 undefeated teams meeting here tonight. The third team, Edmonton, plays in San Antonio tomorrow, so the further west you go, the better the teams get, it would seem. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders are 0-3, winless since you retired, Glenn.
Well, I think Mike Saunders leaving that team is one of the reasons.
Flutie gives it out to Tony Stewart, and that is going nowhere as the stop is made by Dave Chaters. Flutie ran onto the field as we went to commercial, then knelt down to one knee, and it appeared he thought twice about going on the field, but he remains out there. He's never missed a game in his CFL career.
No, he's taken some big hits. There hasn't been many of them, but when they happen, they're big hits. He's not a big guy, Doug Flutie, but he's one of the toughest.
A loss of 1 on the play, and the Calgary Stampeders have scored every time they've touched the football tonight. And it's a gorgeous evening here in Calgary, and a huge crowd at McMahon Stadium, and Tom Europe is injured for the BC Lions, and the last thing the Lions need to see is Europe hurt. Since you retired, he might be the hardest hitting safety in the league.
Well, he definitely is a hard-hitting safety, and I remember last year in the Grey Cup game versus Baltimore had an excellent game, including a real big stop on a third down gamble in that football game. He had 4 tackles in the Grey Cup and really coming into his own as a safety, and he's coming in here, and Dave Sapunjas makes the block on him and catches him right in the side of the head there with a nice block by Sapunjas, so he might be a little bit dinged. So the hitting going on in this game is pretty ferocious. You know, these two teams genuinely just don't like each other.
This might be the biggest rivalry for BC. Edmonton and Calgary is still the biggest, you'd have to think, for the Stampeders, but for BC, probably the Stamps. Second and 11. Flutie, time over the middle, looking there for Pitt. The flag is down at the end of the play. Pass interference looks to be the call against Enos Jackson. And another penalty against the BC Lions would appear to be coming, and it will give the Calgary Stampeders another first down.
Yeah, and you'll see Enos Jackson. You know, usually I'm siding with the defensive backboard, but you'll see Pitts right in the second receiver at the top there. Enos Jackson's going to pick him up out of the zone defense look, but he just gets there too soon, puts the left hand over there. So this time, I'm afraid I can't side with the DB. Definitely pass interference, but you see that Doug Flutie goes right to the middle where Spencer McClellan is now playing free safety.
A gain of 21. Flutie, lots of time, throwing deep for Sapunjas, and the pass is incomplete. The coverage from Tony Collier. And so Flutie looking deep for David Sapunjas, who has 3 touchdown catches already this season. Sapunjas, who missed 6 games last year with a broken collarbone and then re-broke it in the first playoff game against you guys last year. Did you break his collarbone or what?
No, I don't think it was me, but you know, he said yesterday in practice that he feels great, his shoulder's back, he feels ready to go. He's not tentative at all, so he's looking for a big season this year.
And he's had big games in the first couple of weeks of this season. He's already close to 400 yards receiving. And massively offside is Dave Chaters. By the way, Sapunjas with his last catch just did go over 400 yards receiving on the season. Hard to remember, it's only week 4 of the season. We've got quarterbacks passing for nearly 1,500 yards.
Offside, British Columbia number 74. Second down repeated.
You'll see Dave Chaters right in the middle. He's the nose guard right here, and it's so frustrating oftentimes when you got a guy like Doug Flutie back there You want to get that little extra jump and try to time the snap count, and he missed it there.
How can a guy standing over the ball go offside?
He's just trying to get the timing on the snap count, and he missed it.
Penalties. A huge factor in this football game. Sapunjas is open, got away from Collier. Fights his way down to the 34-yard line. Charles Gordon makes the stop. It's a pickup of 17. Hey, if Doug Flutie's seeing double, he's not having many problems.
Well, he's probably seeing three Dave Sapunjas, and he's thrown it to the one in the middle, and that happens to be the real one. But Sapunjas, you know what he does a great job of all the time is breaking the first tackle. Dave Sapunjas gets a ton of yards on his second effort. He doesn't run real fancy patterns, a lot of under routes, a lot of short routes, but he breaks that first tackle and gets the extra yardage.
The first Canadian in CFL history to have 100 catches in a season. Look at the time for Flutie. Looking for Pee-wee in the end zone, and Pee-wee Smith was covered by Robert Davis. Pee-wee went 15 weeks of the season last year without a touchdown catch, and guess what? He doesn't have one yet this year.
No, and a real good job by the rookie and Robert Davis. They're in a zone defense, and Robert Davis is very patient, waits on Pee-wee Smith to come to him, and makes a really nice play. Already has one interception in his rookie season, and they're really happy with Davis in BC.
And the report on Tom Europe is that he is just slightly injured, should be back for the next series. The Lions could use him right now. Big down for the BC Lions defense in an 18-0 game. Early movement. They were offside. Flutie with a free play, completes it over there for Terry Vaughn. And Vaughn should have the Calgary first down as he gets inside the 23 and down to the 22. It's a gain of 12. The penalty would not have given Calgary a first down, so they'll likely decline it. But this is just crushing for the BC Lions.
Offside. British Columbia number 11. Penalties decline. First down.
Second time in the game that Benefield's been offside.
Nice catch by Vaughn on the sideline. Flutie's going to throw to the wide field. BC has had to go into some simpler defenses, playing that zone defense, and Vaughn catches in the first down. You see Benefield just getting a little bit antsy on the outside and just breaking that neutral zone. Of course, a yard in between defensive and offensive lines in the CFL.
And now the BC Lions have called timeout. 7:24 to play here in the opening half, and Dave Ritchie wants to talk it over with his defensive captains. And so Ritchie senses, like everyone else does here, how important this series is for his team, down 18-0. Dave Ritchie has never won a game against Wally Buono in the regular season. He and Wally are very good friends going back to their days on the staff in Montreal together, but Wally Buono, who had Dave Ritchie over for dinner last night, is 5-0 against Dave Ritchie, and maybe that's why he's such an accommodating host.
You know, they were probably talking about that over dinner, but you know, Ritchie would always could bring up, yeah, but we won the one that matters.
First down. Flutie under pressure, can't get away. Tripped up at the last moment by Virgil Robertson, who had a couple of sacks coming into the game. And he just was able to trip up the elusive Doug Flutie.
Boy, and he just gets his hand on Flutie. He's going to come from the right of your screen, and just as Flutie tries to get up and in there, Virgil Roberts shoots across, gets that hand out, just gets enough to trip up Flutie and get the sack, his third of the 1995 season.
Flutie lost a yard. 3 receivers to the near side of the field. Flutie, pressure again. Throws it out there for Dave Sapunjas. Incomplete. That pass may not have been intended for him. Pee-wee Smith was also over there, so finally the Calgary offense is thwarted, at least in terms of scoring a touchdown. The field goal unit will come back onto the field for the Stampeders.
You know, you see a team that comes into the game leading in 14 offensive categories in the CFL in 1995. Don't see very many mistakes like that, and one that Dave Sapunjas definitely should have caught.
Mark McLaughlin will come out now to try this from the 30-yard line. And Flutie is back as his holder. McLaughlin puts it up and good. And the Calgary Stampeders have a 21-0 lead over the BC Lions with 6:19 to play in the first half.
We have the gamut of bicycles from children's bicycle right up to a mountain bike to a racing bike. Our product obviously makes it special. We have a dynamite product. I use the Advantage account codes to be cost efficient. With Advantage, I get one invoice per month. It's broken down exactly the way I want it, by territory, across Canada, by rep. The Advantage codes make my life very easy. I mean, it makes it easier for my budget. Being cost conscious is very important to every business in this day and age.
Hey, you want to know how to protect something? You wrap it up. You want to protect it? You wrap it up. So, you want to protect it? Wrap it up.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you by Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Back in Calgary, where it's been a long time since Stampeder fans saw their team lose a regular season game at home. Labor Day of 1992 to be exact, the CFL record 24 straight home wins. But you have a theory about why the Stamps are so tough here.
Yeah, next time we come here, I'm bringing a tape measure, and I'm going to go from sideline to sideline. The field's supposed to be 65 yards wide, but I swear this one seems like about 75. It just seems so wide here for some reason, such a big field. But it's probably because the Calgary offense, the way they spread things out and throw the ball around, it feels like it's wider.
They use every square inch of it. Time of possession widely favors Calgary. McManus throws it out to the far side. Darren Flutie has the catch in front of Gerald Vaughn. There is a flag down, and that's the first catch for Darren Flutie in the football game. And pass interference is the call against the Calgary Stampeders. The pickup for Flutie was 11.
I believe it was actually on Gerald Vaughn, who was covering Darren Flutie.
Forward pass interference. Calgary number 38. First down.
You know your DB, don't you?
Yeah, well, Flutie's going to run the out pattern, and he's got man-to-man coverage, and Gerald Vaughn's the guy covering. When he runs the out, he gets separation. Vaughn tries to grab him. That was just before you saw it there, and then Flutie still comes up with the catch on the sideline. What a start to the 95 year for Flutie. 15 for 240 yards and 1 TD.
And a pretty good game here last year in the Western Final. 3 touchdown catches on 11 grabs. 6 defensive backs. They try the reverse to Mike Trevathan. He's got room to run. Trevathan still going up the sidelines. He's forced out of bounds inside Calgary territory to the 47-yard line. The extra defensive back, Al Jordan, drove him out. But Trevathan, with his second carry of the year, has a 17-yard gain.
Yeah, and you'll see the key to the play is the play action fake to Corey Philpott, drawing everyone in, and then that gets Trevathan to the outside, and Greg Knox has to make the tackle, last guy back.
Trevathan, 2 carries for 24 yards this season.
At the Calgary 47.
First down, McManus wants it all. Looking up the sideline he goes. He's got Matt Clark. And Clark can't tightrope down the sidelines, but he's all the way down to the 7. A gain of 40 yards. And the deepest penetration for the BC Lions gets them down to the Calgary 7.
And Gord, what happens? You get a zone defense right here with Gerald Vaughn being the deep guy. Now, you don't see him in the screen, but what he's doing is looking back at the quarterback. While he's doing that, Matt Clark is sneaking in behind him, and Danny McManus puts it right on the money to the sideline. Had he got a little more in front of him, that was 6 points.
And tack on a flag at the end of the play. Half the distance to the goal line takes the Calgary Stampeders, or the BC Lions rather, down to the Calgary 4. And a chance for the Lions to finally get on the board. Philpott. Not much. Sreko Zizakovic got in there, along with Will Johnson and Matt Finley, and Marvin Pope, with his helmet knocked off, wants to celebrate.
Watch the surge by that defensive line of Calgary, and then Marvin Pope, Matt Finley from the middle coming in there, and Alonzo Johnson, everyone stacking him up, and Marvin Pope, Big Daddy's the only guy in the game that'd probably play without a helmet.
Now on 2nd and goal, Calgary has 6 DBs in there again. McManus, Philpott, touchdown! Corey Philpott with the touchdown catch. It's his 8th major of the year. And the BC Lions are on the board. Down 21-6 with the point after to come.
Really big play for the BC Lions because they respond to the scoring that Calgary's had so far. They bring everybody down, all the wide receivers down in there to try and get the pick. And it works successfully. Corey Philpott pushes out into the flat, the wide side of the field, gets the 6 points and keeps the Lions in it.
Hey, remember last year in the Western Final, the BC Lions were down by a couple of touchdowns in the first half. Pasaglia with the point after, and Pasaglia, who went over 3,000 points last week, adds another one for the BC Lions. 21-7 is the score, and we've got flags down as there's pushing and shoving after the point out.
A lot of emotion in this football game. Both teams don't really like each other, and they oftentimes that's why you get a lot of those penalties as well. But you know, had it not been for a couple of BC Lion penalties, this game may be a lot different right now because they've stopped a couple of drives with some penalties, and that's been killing them all season. And it has in the first half.
These aren't so much intensity penalties so much, are they? There's been a lot of offsides too. And unnecessary roughness is the call against the Calgary Stampeders. It comes after the point after, which will stand, and so this should be applied to the kickoff.
Not real intensity penalties, Gort, but a lot of times when a guy gets so fired up for a football game and he gets in there and the first sound he hears a defensive lineman, he's going to jump.
And here's the call from George Black.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 98 after the play.
Lubo Zizakovic, the younger brother of Sreko, is called for unnecessary roughness. And so now the kickoff will be moved up to the 50-yard line, and Julio Caravaggio performs the kickoff duties for the BC Lions. We'll move a little closer. He was the subject of some controversy this week. BC wanted to list him as a backup wide receiver and use Lou Pasaglia as their third quarterback, but the league would not allow Pasaglia to be listed as a quarterback. And Caravaggio, true to form, puts it deep in the end zone, and Pee Wee Smith will concede a single point. So the Calgary Stampeders surrender a single, and BC now pulls within 13, down 21-8. The 5-play drive saw the big play by Matt Clark for a gain of 40 yards down to the 7-yard line. And that was a 75-yard single by Julio Caravaggio. So, Dave Ritchie, your team finally got on the board late in the second quarter. What do you think? Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, he's in. He's cool. He's, you know, he's a cool customer on that sideline. Wants to keep control, keep composure, and didn't show much emotion on that touchdown.
I'm not so sure how cool he is. He was getting heckled by a fan in Saskatchewan last year. He wandered over to me on the sideline and said, "How much would the league fine me if I killed that guy?" Calgary starts at the 35, and Flutie over the middle for Sapunjas, and he just got his head down in time. Tom Europe, who was hurt on a block by Sapunjas, wanted revenge, but Sapunjas just got down.
Boy, he sure did. Tom Europe's back in the game and right at the lower middle of your screen, and he's going to drop back into that middle zone. Sapunjas finds a seam, and Europe takes off for the head. And Dave Sapunjas just gets down. Good concentration by Sapunjas to make that catch when Europe's on his way over for the hit.
Gain of 23. Flutie has it picked up. It is intercepted by Charles Gordon. And the tackle is made on the play by Bruce Beaton, but Doug Flutie is picked off for only the 3rd time this year. And there is a flag down on the play. Charles Gordon with what appears to be his second interception of the season. But hold everything, there's a flag down.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 20 after the interception.
Flutie.
First down.
Doug Flutie for unnecessary roughness. That has to be a first.
Charles Gordon makes a nice play on the pick, though. They're in a zone defense just dropping off. Gordon's going to read the play and jump right in front of that curl route. You know, he's moved from the halfback position where he played last year out to that corner, but with his experience, not a real big transition for him. His second interception of the season.
At the Calgary 30, McManus. Long throw. He's got Darren Flutie down to the 14-yard line. Check that. It's Matt Clark down to the 14. And it will be a BC first down as we have reached the 3-minute warning here in the first half. The BC Lions were down early, but now the Lions are coming back.
20-foot baskets, 300-point games, 100-yard courts. In the future, athletes will make the game faster, farther, tougher. But today's athlete can choose new All-Sport. Fluid replacement, unsurpassed taste, 4 thirst-quenching flavors. All-Sport is a body quencher. So before it gets to this, new All-Sport, the game will never be the same.
At Mr. Sub, fresh thinking is what we are.
Wasted days and wasted nights. I was so lonely and so blue.
Welcome back to McDonald's Halftime. We are preparing for the half. We will take you around the Canadian Football League, take a look at some of the news and notes from what's transpired this past week. We will talk to Larry Rickman. He is still the owner of the Stamps, live at the half, at least for the time being, still the owner. And Glenn and Gord give us their analysis. Let's go back to McMahon. If the Lions score, we could have a game.
Hey, it's the BC Lions, Darren. They don't get going till the second half. They've won 5 of their last 6 games, trailing with 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. That includes the Grey Cup.
And you know, they love that situation in BC, and you know why? They have one of the best kickers in the history of the game to win it for him on the last play.
Dave Ritchie doesn't have a dark hair left in his head, though. The game was 16 for Matt Clark. First and 10 from the 14. They fake the toss to Philpott. McManus to the end zone. Touchdown, Mike Trevathan. And Danny McManus brings them back as Mike Trevathan hauls in the touchdown catch, his first of the season.
What a job by Danny McManus on the play. He's going to drop back and just give a little bit of look to his right, to the right side of the field. You'll see him, he's going to drop back, fake it there to Philpott, and gives a little bit of look to the right. That brings Greg Knox, the safety, way over to the right side of the field. He can't get back in time to help Kenton Leonard on the seam route by Trevathan. Trevathan does a nice job of fighting off Leonard, who was holding on the play to make the catch.
Well, we were concerned in the first quarter that this game might be slipping away from the BC Lions, but they hung in there. And now they trail by just 6 points with 2:32 to play in the opening half.
See Danny McManus with the little play fake, and that held Greg Knox to the right side of the football field, and then he throws it in there, and nice play by Danny Mack.
Danny Mack, who set most of Florida State's passing records. Calling somebody home, said, hey, see that?
Yeah, you see, he's saying, hey, don't worry. It'll be tied in the end of the game. We'll just get Louis to come in and kick another one to win it for us.
You know, it's funny. People called him the hero of the Grey Cup game for the BC Lions. He was only 3 for 7 passing in that game. And standing in front of him, you saw there a moment ago, was Jeff Boyd, assistant coach for the BC Lions, a former outstanding receiver in the Canadian Football League for Toronto, BC, and others.
And Trevathan, coming off his best year in 1994 with over 1,000 yards in receiving.
Julio Caravata kicking it off, and it bounces down around the 20-yard line, gets past Terry Vaughn in the end zone, and Vaughn will surrender another point to the Lions. And now they trail by just 5, 21-16. So the Lions saw Calgary score the first 21 points of the game. They've now scored the next 16. And Wally Buono's team has clearly lost some momentum since Doug Flutie was shaken up. And Doug Flutie with 215 yards passing in the game. And it's interesting, one more passing yard will move him past Damon Allen again and into 7th place on the CFL's all-time passing list. In just his 6th year in the CFL, Doug Flutie will likely go over 30,000 passing yards this year. First down, Flutie gets it up there to Terry Vaughn. He's got the catch. There's a flag down as they hit him late. And the hit was made in the play by Robert Davis. It's a gain of 11. And you can tack on some yardage to the end of this, as unnecessary roughness will be the call against the Calgary Stampeders.
And Davis going over there to plead his case to the referee.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. British Columbia, number 7. First down.
See, Vaughn's going to catch it on the sideline, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds right there, and Davis takes 2 or 3 more steps. And that's what the ref really looks at. Once the receiver's out of bounds, do you take 2 steps to get to hit him? If you take more than 1 and then 1.5, he's going to throw the flag.
Right in front of the Calgary bench, too, which didn't hurt. So now the Stampeders are into BC territory at the 49. Flutie has Vaughn. Vaughn got away from Gordon. Ooh, took a couple of big hits. And he paid for that catch as he got up to the 46-yard line. But Terry Vaughn, the first-year man out of Arizona, got whacked pretty good.
And good job by the BC Lion defense, because with these Calgary weapons on offense, you can't tackle them with just one guy. They break that first tackle. Gordon knows it. He breaks that tackle, but you have everybody else coming in there with Henry Newby, who made the big hit on Flutie early, coming in to wrap up and help out with the tackle.
You know, got him the worst was Jamie Crysdale, his own center. He was trying to help out with a block. 2nd and 6, Flutie to Sapunjas. He's close to the first down marker. The spot will be interesting because Sapunjas kind of backed up, and it will leave him a couple of yards short of the first down. Tony Collier came up for the stop for the BC Lions, and Flutie wants to go for it on what appears to be 3rd and a couple of yards.
You know, we talked about Dave Sapunjas, how he always breaks that first tackle. Now, the downside of breaking that first tackle is that you sometimes have to give ground to do it, and Sapunjas does that, gives up 2 yards, and that's exactly what they're short.
And the Calgary Stampeders have called timeout. They want to talk it over. Well, you know Flutie wants to go for it. Anything 3rd and 5 or less, Flutie always wants to go for it.
Yeah, he has a lot of confidence in what he has over there on offense, and he should with the type of numbers that he can put up. He feels like he can play pitch and catch anytime he wants to. That's why he wants to go for it in all those situations.
Now, the one thing for Flutie here is if you don't get it, you give the Lions the ball back at their own 40-yard line with over 1.5 minutes to play in the first half. And a chance perhaps for the Lions to take the lead.
This is a big, big play for both teams right now.
They're in the long 2. Flutie straight ahead. Did he get there? He lost the ball. The ball was loose. And the Stamps may have got it back, and that might have been the only way they could make the first down.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Oh, Dave Ritchie's on the field, and he is hot. The BC coach is on the field, and he is hot. Alan Pitts recovered the fumble.
I tell you what, Dave Ritchie is mad right now because he feels Doug Flutie threw that ball forward when he realized he didn't get the first down. He slightly bobbles the snap, and then Newby comes up and wraps him up. He's well short, so he tosses the ball over his shoulder down the field, knowing that he's not going to get the first down anyway.
It is a first down, Calgary. Flutie sidearms it to Sapunjas. Now the ball's loose again. Sapunjas drops it. And Tony Collier picks it up. Robert Davis with the hit. Collier with the reception. And there's a flag now. Oh, man. If this one gets wiped out, there's no telling what Dave Ritchie will do.
Major foul, face mask, Calgary number 69. First down.
Bob Pandelides is called for the face mask. Ritchie's still hot about the last call, but his team has the football back.
You see, Robert Davis is going to come up. He just had the late hit call on the sideline, but they're told to tackle the football when you come up. He puts his helmet right on the football, pops it loose, and they say what goes around sometimes comes around. Well, Flutie got one a play ago. BC Lions just get it back.
1:16 to play in the first half. McManus, lots of time. Ooh, he gunned that. He was looking for Matt Clark. That was a major league throw.
He threw it a long way, and it was a hard throw as well, and obviously too far and over the head of Matt Clark, but wow, did he put a lot of zip on that pass.
Reminds me of a guy who used to play here, Joe Pisarcik. Man, could he gun a ball.
Joe Pisarcik. How about Joe Powpow?
Yeah.
He could throw that wide field out.
They said Tom Forzani has a permanent cross on his chest from catching balls from Joe Pisarcik.
Yeah, he had a cannon.
You could hang the laundry on his throws. But it was incomplete, so that's right. Second down, McManus has time. Has a man over the middle. And completes it there for Robert Gordon. Gordon up to the 42-yard line. The stop made by Marvin Coleman. It will be a BC Lion first down on the gain of 17.
And the Lions go into the hurry-up offense now. They're moving the football down with 1:08 left in the game. They're going to keep going. You know, Trevathan opened up wide open on that play, and McManus didn't see him.
First and 10. McManus. And this time he's got Darren Flutie open over the middle and down to the 22-yard line. And with surgical precision, Danny McManus is bringing the BC Lions down the field. And this pick up a 15.
Sorry, Gord. This is where the BC Lions receivers flourish. They're in the zone defense, and Darren Flutie so smart reading that zone and finding the holes.
Now McManus tips it up. Trevathan knocked it up in the air, and it's intercepted. No, it's not. Greg Knox couldn't hang on. Trevathan tipped it up in the air. Greg Knox very nearly had the pick.
10 interceptions in 1994. All Canadian in the CFL is Greg Knox, and he almost gets his second of the 1995 season. Boy, that one was close.
Greg Knox, the man out of Laurier University, and he was a good one in college. He went later in the CFL draft than most people thought because he didn't test out very well in the combine. Second down, McManus. He's looking down there for Robert Gordon. All kinds of contact with Marvin Coleman, and this will be pass interference, it would appear, against the Calgary Stampeders. And the BC Lions, who looked down and out about 20 minutes ago, have a pretty good chance to take the lead here.
Forward pass interference. Calgary number 17, a 10-yard penalty, first down.
Marvin Coleman, number 17, called for pass interference. Wally thought his guys were home and cooled out.
Yeah, Gordon, what happened was Robert Gordon tried to run a stop-and-go route on the sideline, and as he went to go again, Coleman just got his hands out and got his hands on the shoulder pads of Coleman. Ball was in the air, so good call by the official.
Not called intentional. So BC down to the Calgary 17. McManus, lots of time. Over the middle, he's got Darren Flutie inside the 5 and down to the 4-yard line. What a grab by Darren Flutie. Al Jordan makes the stop. It's a pickup of 13 yards for the Stampeder nemesis.
Good job by Flutie getting inside the defensive back to make that catch. And all of a sudden, the BC Lions, who keep hanging around, are on the doorstep.
First and goal. McManus, lots of time, into the end zone, touchdown! Mike Trevathan, his second of the football game, and the BC Lions lead it 22-21 with the convert to come.
Kenton Leonard's on the coverage. Mike Trevathan does a great job of buying time and getting open on the sideline to help out his quarterback coming back to the ball. But it all starts up front with the big offensive line of the Lions, led by Ian Sinclair at center, doing the cut blocks and keeping the pressure off McManus. And then Trevathan coming back to the ball and making a nice catch for the BC Lions.
Lupasaglia with the point after. What a turn of events with 26 seconds to play in the first half. The BC Lions have scored 23 unanswered points on the CFL's #1 defense. And now, tempers are really boiling over. Matt Clark, number 39, is in there for the BC Lions. Kenny Walker, number 99, is in there for the Calgary Stampeders. Now, you know, it wouldn't matter what you said to Kenny Walker because he's deaf. Unless he read his lips, then Matt Clark's in trouble.
You'll see on the touchdown, Danny McManus he wants to go to his #1 guy, Darren Flutie, but good job coverage-wise by Gerald Vaughn to let him off into the back, and has the coverage. He has to go back to Mike Trevathan, and if it wasn't for a nice job by that offensive line to give Danny McManus that kind of time, that play doesn't work out, but Trevathan kept working back to the ball and gets his second touchdown of the game.
There's Jeff Boyd talking to Mike Trevathan. Danny McManus has completed 4 of his last 5 passes. He's now 13 of 20 for 191 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And the Cardiac Kids are making the Stampeders pretty nervous. And I know their owner, Larry Rickman, standing a couple of feet away from us, and he's not looking like a happy guy right now. He'll be Darren Detition's guest at halftime. Pee-wee Smith on the kickoff return, and Smith dives his way out to about the 38-yard line.
Smith, number 86, for the 20.
And the last 3 BC possessions have resulted in touchdowns. The last, a 7-play, 59-yard drive on the fumble by Sapungis. And Trevathan with his second touchdown catch of the game, his first 2 touchdown receptions of the season.
One of the key plays on that drive, of course, the penalty on Marvin Coleman, where Robert Gordon ran that nice pattern deep, ripped the ball down to the goal line.
And Flutie's going to the shotgun. Lots of time for Flutie. That pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. It looked like Andrew Stewart got his hand up on the pass, and it'll bring up 2nd and 10. And Andrew Stewart comes to the CFL from the University of Cincinnati, where Dave Ritchie just happened to be the head coach. And Ritchie remembered well that Andrew Stewart was a CFL type of player, a defensive lineman who wasn't as big as the NFL likes him, but fast enough to play in this league. 2nd down with 17 seconds to play in the half, and this time Flutie will take no chances. He downs it. And so the Calgary Stampeders getting some boos from the fans here at McMahon Stadium. It's been a long time since the fans of the Calgary Stampeders have seen their team lose at home. It goes all the way back to Labor Day of 1992.
Well, it's been a long time since the fans of McMahon Stadium have seen the team get close to anybody. Usually it's blowouts in this stadium, and right now they're a little antsy with their team behind.
23 unanswered points from the BC Lions, who have overcome turnovers and a ton of penalties. But don't look now. Dave Ritchie's Cardiac Kids lead at 23-21. Stay tuned now for our McDonald's halftime report.
McDonald's Halftime, presented by your local McDonald's restaurant. Here's Darren Detition.
Welcome to McDonald's Halftime. We expected a wild game. We're getting just that. Meanwhile, for Ottawa rookie head coach Jim Gilstrap, it was the worst-case scenario on Wednesday as his veteran quarterback, Danny Barrett, went down with a torn ACL in his left knee. Barrett will undergo surgery next week. He's now finished for the year. That now elevates Sean Moore to the starting spot with Jay Macias as the backup.
Anytime you lose a football player, a veteran football player, affects your team, and it's unfortunate that it's Danny, our quarterback.
Now, injuries are often the sad byproduct of sports. Last week, during one of our updates, we saw punter Josh Miller of the Stallions go down against San Antonio. We're happy to report that he is in fact fine. He practiced all week. He will play tomorrow against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Miller tried to field the snap. It went right through his hands. He got crushed, jamming his head and his neck It was very scary, but once again, Josh Miller will be fine. He will go up against Winnipeg with his teammates tomorrow. Now, speaking of the aforementioned Bombers, Winnipeg will not have Blaze Bryant in their lineup tomorrow night. Bryant has signed with the team. He did work out all this week, but Cal Murphy has elected to go with Mike Oliphant, who scored 2 touchdowns last week in Winnipeg's first win of the season over Shreveport. But count on Bryant getting in there very soon. He was 3rd in the league in rushing last year with almost 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. He also caught 45 passes for over 500 yards. A fullback, Sean Millington, could be returning to the CFL. Millington was kept by the San Francisco 49ers today. Last year, Millington was a key player in the Lions' Grey Cup victory. He was an All-Canadian in the past 2 years. His return would be a big boost to BC, in fact, any team in the CFL. And a story coming into Birmingham tonight that John Moulton, the free agent that went over from Hamilton, has been, in fact, been released by the Birmingham Barracudas. Moulton's going into his 5th year in the Canadian Football League, spent 4 years with Hamilton. Twice he has been an All-Canadian. We will try and update that story for you a little bit later on in the telecast. We're going to take a short break. When the McDonald's halftime continues, we will talk live to Calgary owner Larry Rickman. We leave you with a look at this weekend's action. Stay tuned. Welcome back to McDonald's Halftime. Joining us right now is the Calgary Stampeders owner, Larry Rickman, at least for the time being. Larry, how are things going with the sale of the club?
Slowly but surely. I think we'll know next week. Either it goes forward or I own the team for the next 4 or 5 years again. Only time will tell.
So what's the sticking point right now? Is it Sig Uchia that you're still looking at in terms of a possible buyer from you? Exactly where do things stand?
Where things stand really is Sig's just finalizing his financing and looking to get final clearance to hold concerts. And you know, we expected this to close a month ago, but things have dragged on.
I also read in the Calgary papers that you did have another possible buyer. So is it, like you said before, it's either Sig or he's out or you stay for the next 4 or 5 years, you're saying now?
Well, I made a commitment when I bought the team in 91. It was basically bankrupt and it wasn't at the top of the standings. And you know, I bought this team to make it successful and to keep it here in Calgary. So if a buyer comes along like Sig and offers $6.2 million, I have to take that very seriously. That would probably be the highest sale in the CFL. So, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We carry on in the quest for the 1995 Cup.
And how do you think your team's going to do in terms of going for that cup? What a wild contest we've seen thus far tonight. This has been crazy. It's been great.
It's an exciting game. It's closer than, as an owner, I wanted, but that's football. The best part is that it's great for the fans, and it's a very exciting game.
I would imagine it must be pretty trying on you, too, because you get pretty emotionally involved. I've seen you on the sidelines before. That's all part of your composure and your makeup.
Well, that's probably my biggest weakness as an owner. You know, we have a very disciplined team, and you know, we're out here to win. We don't want to be second best to anybody, and you know, if we're not playing our top game, it affects us all. But you know, I just got to sit there like the fans and hold my breath.
Well, how much does it weigh upon your mind after going 15-3 the last 2 seasons, and then boom, the Western Final rolls along, and the next thing you know, you're watching the Grey Cup and not participating in it?
You know, it's hard to describe. Getting out of bed the morning after those Western Finals is probably the toughest thing that I've ever done. I mean, you look at, we've won over the last three seasons, 46 games. We've only lost 11 games. We've smashed 25 league records, 50 club records, won the Cup. I felt that we should have won it the last three seasons. Obviously, though, I think that this Western Final this season, if we can get there, you will see a team that will not lose. These guys will be out shooting for bear.
You guys have been great during the course of the regular season. As aforementioned, you've had some tough times on the football field when it comes to the Western Final. It's been a wild year for you, too, in terms of what's transpired off the football field with trying to sell the team. And now people are talking about the possibility of being investigated by the Alberta Securities Commission. it's been pretty trying for yourself.
Well, it certainly hasn't been the best year. The whole Alberta Securities Commission thing, it isn't like it's going to court, it isn't like it's going to jail. This is simply a hearing, and they don't even have the right to fine me. But unfortunately, from a media perspective, it becomes a big deal, and it goes to a hearing, I think, January, and you know, as I've always said, we will prevail.
Well, your team, I wonder if they're going to prevail tonight, because it has been fantastic, up 21 answered points. The next thing you know, BC bounces back with 23. We appreciate you taking the time. We know how emotionally attached you get to the games themselves. Once again, Larry Rickman joining us live from McMahon Stadium. Larry, thanks very much. Take care.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. When we come back, we will continue with McDonald's halftime. We'll have Gordon Glenn. They will give us their first half thoughts and more as we break down our game stories. Stay tuned. It's 23-21. Can you believe it? BC with the lead. Back in a moment.
Boy, we sold sweepers to places like Kuwait. We sold sweepers to Japan, Taiwan, Australia, Mexico, Sweden. I'm an accountant, so I know about costs, and any places that we can look at to save costs, we're going to do it. Advantage Savings Plan is certainly one way that we can do that. We were spending $1,500 a month. Cost went down to $800 a month. What it allowed us to do is contact more customers and to have more contact with our existing customers.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time together, Cinnamon Toast and Eggo Waffle.
Get serious. Get the tantalizing taste of Cinnamon Toast in an Eggo Waffle, a delectable cinnamon-sweet combination. Cinnamon Toast Eggo Waffles, new from Kellogg's. Lego my new Eggo.
Summertime fun, need refreshment. Yeah! Summertime fun, need refreshment.
Try delicious frozen concentrated iced tea from McCain. Refreshing, thirst-quenching beverage made with the essence of unique tea blends. McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. Just the clean, fresh-tasting flavor of McCain iced tea. Caffeine-free, no powdery taste. McCain, great-tasting refreshment down to a tea.
CFL Legends brought to you by McDonald's. He was an all-star on both offense and defense. More on Don Luzzy in a moment.
What does it take to get to the Olympics? Years of training, good coaching, an almost complete lack of respect for pain. Oh yeah, and a really nice hat.
When you buy one of 4 official Olympic caps for just $7.99 at McDonald's, 50 cents goes to help send the Canadian Olympic team to Atlanta.
Wow, suede and cotton. How do they do this for $7.99?
During his 12-year career in the CFL, Don Luzzy was unique in that he was an all-star as both an offensive and defensive tackle. As the inspirational leader of the Calgary Stampeders from 1958 to 69, Luzzy was chosen to the CFL All-Star team 3 times and was voted the league's most outstanding lineman in 1958. You can see more on Luzzy and other Canadian football legends at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton. McDonald's Halftime, brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant.
Welcome back to McDonald's Halftime. This is without a doubt one of the wildest game stories that we have had so far in this CFL season. I mean, go figure. The Stamps jump out to an early 21-0 lead. The Lions bounce back with 23 unanswered points in the second quarter. Trevathan with a couple of touchdowns. Flutie, 241 yards passing. McManus, 191 yards. Gordon Glenn, we thought it'd be close, but not like this.
No, not at all. And really, the first half that saw 44 points scored. The key play was not a scoring play. It was a hit by Henry Newby on Doug Flutie. Now, Flutie started the game 7 for 10 passing at one point, but this play, which happened on the 4th play of the second quarter, has seen Flutie go just 7 for 14 since then, and Calgary has managed just 2 field goals after starting like a house on fire.
And it was a great hit by Henry Newby, just delivering the blow on Doug Flutie. And, you know, when that happens, your sideline just erupts. Not only is Flutie a little woozy, but also it's a great lift for your sideline to see the big hit. It gets you going, and we've seen 2 different football games because of it.
Okay, Flutie was shaken up and he looked a little woozy, but what happened to the Calgary defense in the second quarter?
Well, I don't know if it was the Calgary defense or Danny McManus and the offense. You know, they were coming in as the rushing team, but they really have done it through the air, and a couple of key penalties when they needed have kept this ball game close.
Well, the Cardiac kids from BC love to come from behind and win a football game. About an hour ago, who'd have given them a chance in this one, Darren?
Isn't that the truth, gentlemen? But hey, they got a 2-point lead as we get set for the opening kickoff of the second half. 23-21, BC with the lead. Stay tuned.
Play Vacation Sweepstakes at Mr. Grocer and Value Mart. You could win one of 100 trips for 2 to the luxurious Oakwood Inn Resort in Grand Bend, Ontario. Enjoy deluxe accommodations, golf, tennis, and swimming facilities. You could also win the massage and home haircutting kit from Wall, Masters of Massage and Home Hair Care, or Samsonite's Valet Carry-On. Samsonite, our strengths are legendary. To enter, fill out a ballot and attach a proof of purchase from any one of these President's Choice featured products. Vacation Sweepstakes only at Mr. Grocer and Value Mart.
The Canadian Football League 1995 Facts, Figures, and Records book. It's your source for the landmark play, the vital stats, the award-winning players, the complete rules, and the outstanding performances, all the way to the Grey Cup. To order your copy, call 1-800-667-1251.
Back at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, in a wild first half between the Lions and Stampeders, the BC Lions were penalized 12 times for 101 yards, but 2 Calgary turnovers were key, especially the second one, Dave Sapunjas' fumble that led to the go-ahead touchdown for the BC Lions. But Calgary seemed to dominate the game in every respect in the early going, and we talked about it at the time. Last year, BC came in here undefeated, lost 62-21. This game had that written all over it after the first quarter.
It sure did to start with, but now it's looking more like the West Final. Back and forth, back and forth. Last team with the ball is going to win this one. We're in for a barn burner of a second half, and with the talent on both these teams, it's just exciting to be up here and be part of this game.
The Calgary Stampeders will kick off to begin the second half, so the BC Lions might be able to continue that momentum with which they began, or ended rather, that first half. And it's the first time this year the Calgary Stampeders have trailed a game at the half. Corey Philpott from the 12. Flags are down. And Philpott is to the 45-yard line. Greg Knox tripped him up. Looks like an illegal block against the BC Lions. Will bring this back. So the second half begins as the first half ended, filled with penalties. And the numbers through the first 30 minutes, Doug Flutie has passed for 241 yards, and Danny McManus is not far behind.
British Columbia number 31 on the return. First down.
The call is holding against Shelton Quarles, so that will nullify the big return and bring the BC Lions all the way back to their own 15-yard line. Danny McManus kind of looks like somebody's uncle when he comes out there. Like the practice the day before the game, he wears a floppy hat. He's got a knock-kneed and pigeon-toed, and he's got a bit of a gun on him.
Yeah, he's a heavy guy too. You know, so when we were standing on the sideline yesterday in practice looking across, he almost fit in real well with that offensive line in just T-shirts. But boy, he's got all the talent and all the skills, and they love him in BC because he's calm, he's controlled, he runs the huddle, and he's just one of those real likable guys that his receivers and his offensive line really want to play for.
And you look at the top 10 in CFL passing as Greg Knox is slow to leave the field, but seems to be all right. It was a guy with not a great physique who has the highest completion percentage of all time among the top 10, Tom Wilkinson.
Yeah, there's another one.
Tom Wilkinson did not win many Mr. Universe contests.
He won a lot of football games, though.
He and I look like the number 10 when we stand next to each other. Just got it.
I just got it.
First and 10. McManus almost intercepted. And it was Big Daddy Marvin Pope. And he almost had to catch that out of self-defense.
Yeah, you know, He's known for sacking the quarterback. In fact, he's leading the league in sacks, but catching maybe not one of his strong points. But look at this, right in the perfect position to help out his corner, and McManus goes, whew, got away with one there because that one was right in and out of the hands of Pope.
Just glad to take an incompletion. Second down, they toss it to Philpott, nothing. Will Johnson. The four-time All-Canadian gets into the backfield and throws the CFL's second leading rusher for a 4-yard loss on the play.
And Will's a stand-up guy just at the top of your screen, and he's as great as he is at sacking the quarterback. He does it all. Great on the run, works off his block, and makes the big play for the loss.
Corey Philpott, 5 carries for 2 yards in the game so far. And Lou Pasaglia back to punt in his 20th CFL season. Good kick. Marvin Coleman from the 51. And Coleman does a pretty good job to get down to the 40-yard line, a 40-yard punt, and a return of 10. And Doug Flutie returns to the field after taking that hit from Newby early in the second quarter. His production has dipped somewhat. And for him, he's having kind of an average night, below average night.
Yeah, I mean, everybody expects so many huge things. I mean, Doug Flutie can throw for 450 yards in a game, and people go, oh, yeah, so what's new?
He was the player of the week this week for the first time in a year and a half. He was not the player of the week once last year. First and 10, Flutie wide open, Sapunjas. Tom Europe makes the tackle, but Dave Sapunjas was standing down there eating a sandwich at the BC 20-yard line. A gain of 22.
And Dave Sapunjas is just going to work down. He's the third receiver in the package in the zone defense, and young Robert Davis, the halfback, flew out to the flat and left that hole open, and Tom Europe just doesn't have a chance to get that far across the field.
Flutie. Over the middle, Sapunjas can't get to it. And Sapunjas, who has just got over 100 yards receiving the game, has now done it 3 straight weeks. And that time the pass was just out of his reach.
Yeah, and I tell you, safety Tom Europe got caught up in the middle there, and nice job by Doug Flutie looking him off and looking like he was throwing underneath, and safety came up, and again, Sapunjas sees the opening in the middle, heads right for the post.
Second down. Flutie, lots of time, intercepted. It is picked off by Shelton Quarles right at the goal line. Flutie was looking for Alan Pitts. And a frustrated Doug Flutie will go back to the Calgary sideline.
Shelton Quarles is just free on the play and drops underneath Pitts to help out, and Pitts is going to run the in route in behind him, and Shelton Quarles with that good speed is going to do the bracket coverage, be inside of Pitts, and Gordon over top, and Doug Flutie would like to have that one back, obviously, because he didn't see Quarles underneath and threw it right to him. A nice play by Quarles, who they feel can run with anybody in this league with that great speed he has, and looking for big things out of Shelton Quarles. Leads the team in tackles so far this season.
And that time, McManus's pass is knocked down by big Will Johnson.
You know, Will Johnson, Gord, is going to have as many knockdowns as some of the defensive backs in his team, because he's already had 2 coming into this game. This is his 3rd of the season, and it, you know, up there at 6'5", 250 pounds, and then he puts his hands up. It makes him almost a 7-footer and knocks that pass down by McManus.
Someone watch Pope on the action. I got it.
On second down. McManus looking for Robert Gordon. Marvin Coleman there on the coverage, and he was covered completely as Coleman got the hand in there to knock it down, and the Lions again will be forced to punt.
Real good job by Coleman on the play, because what happens is Calgary's in what they call a cover 2-man. 2 men deep, everyone underneath in man-to-man coverage. That allows Coleman to stay underneath his receiver because he knows he has deep help. He comes underneath and makes a nice knockdown. It's a good team defense in a new coverage for Calgary.
and Pasaglia will be forced to punt again. Another good kick. Coleman from his 43. Flags are down. There was a clip. Marvin Coleman still going. Coleman all the way down to the 27, but it's coming back. It looked like Tony Collier was clipped on the play. And the Calgary offense will come onto the field, but not as close to the BC end zone as it would have liked.
At the Keg, we welcome you to be our guest for a night of fun, steaks on the grill, and lots of juicy details. That's why people keep coming back to the Keg. Great steaks, good friends. See you tonight.
When Makita builds high-quality power tools, they design them for the real world, where your reputation is only as good as your last job, where performance and reliability is what pays the bills, where there's just no room for compromise, and where the right power tool for the job is worth everything. That's why the one name that rises to the top is Makita, the power you can trust. For a limited time, buy this Makita 4.8-volt cordless drill with clutch and get an extra value, a 7-piece magnetic insert fit set.
Welcome back to CFL Control. It seems pretty appropriate now that the Lions have come back once again. The Calgary Stampeders were asked prior to this game just exactly how do they put last year's final behind them. Here's what Doug Flutie had to say.
It sits in the back of your mind, but this game I think is more about this season. Both teams are 3-0. We're fighting for first place. It's very similar to the situation as of last year. It's a very important game for us in the standings and try to keep ourselves in first place and try to stay a cut above the rest.
Well, Doug Flutie had a long off season to think about what happened last year. Of course, he saw a lot of his brother Darren on the stage. Yes, the Flutie Brothers Band, otherwise known as Catch This, with Doug on drums and Darren on guitar. And they've signed a recording contract in the Boston area. And you know what? After all these years, the Boston papers still list Doug Flutie's stats week after week. First down for the 42 after the clipping penalty, and here's a wide-open Alan Pitt. But Flutie sent the pass about 10 yards too far. Enos Jackson was there on the coverage. The call was against Kevin Reed for a clip on Tony Collier. It negated that great return. And Pitts has just 2 catches in this game for 15 yards, and that is decidedly lower than his season average, although one of those 2 catches was for a touchdown. Second and 10. Flutie over the middle, knocked up in the air, and intercepted. Now fumble. Henry Newby made the interception and then dropped the football. And the Lions are saying he was down. Dave Ritchie, rather, is closely watching this call. And George Black is really hearing it from the BC bench. So it's a Henry Newby interception, a fumble, which appeared to be recovered by the Calgary Stampeders.
See what happens to sort it out here, but Pee-wee.
It was a big call.
Yeah. Pee-wee Smith had it pop up in the air. Newby made the interception, and then it looked like he was just stripped of the ball. But I think what they're discussing right now, Gord, is whether or not he had control of the interception.
The pass was incomplete. Whistle was blown before the ball hit the ground.
I tell you, this is a break for the Calgary Stampeders because it looked to me in the initial play like Newby had control of the ball.
Okay, we're going to have a look at the play and listen to see when the whistle happens. Well, why would the whistle have gone then?
Well, you could clearly hear the whistle there, so the official had to stick with his call.
Hey, look, it's Tony Martino. Remember him? It's his first punt of the night. Tony, who works at a gas station during games in the first half.
He's not a very busy man.
Sends it down for Spencer McLennan. He lets it bounce around at the 25-yard line. Flags are down, and McLennan dives straight ahead. Hey, Tony Martino doesn't get out there much, but what he does, it's pretty good. Back with more from a great game at McMahon Stadium on the CFL Live.
I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, I took the high endurance challenge from Old Spice because I didn't really think it could work better than my old deodorant, but it does. It evaporates less quickly, it also lasts longer. High endurance protects against odor better. So if you still think every deodorant works the same, take the challenge. Try high endurance from Old Spice, because now you got proof. Guaranteed.
It's hot off the grill, the Keg 69 Classic Camaro Contest. To get your share of the action, just visit the Keg and sink your teeth into a juicy keg steak or cool down with a refreshing Lipton Original Iced Tea. Fill out a ballot and enter it into the specially marked ballot box. Then, dream about your chance to win this classic beauty. Or you could win a free cake dinner during the Keg 69 Classic Camaro Contest. It's hot.
George Black and his officiating crew have had a busy evening, and we're going to look again at that non-interception by Henry Newby. Looked like a catch to me.
Yeah, you see Pee Wee Smith is going to come from the right of your screen on the post pattern, and the ball is going to bounce up in the air right there. Now, Henry Newby comes over and gains possession. Right there is where the whistle blew, so the ref stuck with his call, but that is a catch and then a fumble. And now, I'm not sure who recovered that fumble, but if it was the BC Lions, they lost about 15 yards in field position. If it was Calgary, they had a first down. So the key there was whether or not Lions recovered that fumble. But that definitely was an interception by Henry Newby.
And it looked like Tony Stewart got the football. That would have been a Calgary first down. So kind of a call that hurt both teams.
Yeah, it really was, because of the fumble, it was a call that actually hurt the Calgary Stampeders, because they would have had a first down, and as it turned out, they had to punt. But what a wild call and a wild game.
BC's first two possessions of the second half have resulted in punts. McManus guns it out there and complete to Darren Flutie. How did that get by Gerald Vaughn? Flutie's all the way up to the 47-yard line. Vaughn, that ball must have gone right through him.
Gordon, I'll tell you, that's exactly how that one got to Darren Flutie. It was a cannon shot by McManus. He rolls to the wide side of the field and lets the dart go right to Darren Flutie, and the outstretched Gerald Vaughn just misses the ball. Concentration by Flutie there.
And a 16-yard gain for the BC Lions. McManus. Intercepted by Greg Knox. And Knox has got room to run with blockers in front of him. Finally forced out of bounds by Vic Stevenson. McManus was looking for Mike Trevathan, but he wasn't looking back.
Well, I tell you, it really was some confusion between Danny McManus and Mike Trevathan, and he's going to have to get with his receiver on the sideline on that one, because Trevathan was running the seam pattern, and it looked like he changed his mind halfway through. You'll see Danny McManus dropping back with the play-action fake. Now, Greg Knox is sitting in the middle in his perfect position, and just as the end of the play there, you saw Trevathan turn to the outside, so some miscommunication, and then a nice little move by Greg Knox in his second interception of the season.
Stampeders first and 10. Flutie from the shotgun, wants it all now, looking for 10, and he's all the way down to 2. He was working over BC defensive back Robert Davis, a gain of 36 yards for Alan Pitts.
Boy, you got to feel for the rookie and Robert Davis. There's a big play after the Knox interception. You know the Calgary Stampeders are fired up, and he's got the #1 receiver in the CFL to cover, and Alan Pitts one-on-one down the middle of the field there, and right down the numbers, and a nice catch over the shoulder by Alan Pitts.
First and goal from the 2. Tony Stewart, touchdown! Tony Stewart with his first rushing touchdown of the season. And the Calgary Stampeders are back on top, 27-23 with the convert to come.
You'll see Tony Stewart just running off tackle in behind Denny Chronopoulos and gets in the end zone. You know, Tony Stewart had, and Bruce Beaton, Tony Stewart had 19 touchdowns, second in the league last year. He sure knows how to get in that end zone.
Tony Stewart, who became Calgary's first 1,000-yard rusher in 8 seasons last year. And there's been lots of pushing and shoving, and the point afters have been some of the best plays to watch with all the bad feelings afterwards. You see Tom Europe into there, and with Sean Daniels, and did Tom Europe threw a punch. And another look at the touchdown as Bruce Beaton threw the big block, but Tom Europe threw a punch a moment ago as all that was happening at Denny Chronopoulos, and Europe, the BC safety, may be out of the game.
Yeah, it was definitely late.
Objectionable conduct is the call against Europe. So it's objectionable conduct and rough play. And they're indicating against the Calgary Stampeders.
I think what they got is one against BC and one against Calgary, so probably just even each other out, but a lot of frustration going on out there. You know, this close game, both teams don't really like each other, and they're going at it. You know, when you're in a game like this, the only time you can really do that and get away with it is after an extra point. And that's when it's been happening.
And they're going to talk it over with the captains of both teams. Tom Europe's lucky if he stays in the game after throwing that punch.
Objectionable conduct after the convert, number 53, Calgary. 10-yard penalty applies on the kickoff.
Wow. Denny Chronopoulos gets the only penalty.
So they missed the punch by Tommy Europe, which is uncharacteristic because usually they get the retaliation, but this time they got the initial hit.
Hey, Chader. That's good push.
So McLaughlin now retreats the kickoff from his own 25-yard line. Kickoff towards the sideline. Spencer McLennan. Oh, did he get cut at the 40-yard line by Pee Wee Smith? And Pee Wee Smith got right underneath Spencer McLennan, and a great special teams play by Pee Wee Smith.
You know, it's great all around. One by Spencer McClellan to get up there and catch the ball in the air, but Pee Wee Smith flying down the field takes out his knees. Pee Wee's normally known for his running back abilities on those kick returns, but he also can cover punts and did a nice job on Spencer McClellan.
Well, Wally Buono says it quite clearly. If you can't play special teams, you can't play for me. From the 43. McManus waits, has Darren Flutie. And Flutie got away from Alondra Johnson. Coming up to make the stop was Kim Phillips. It's a gain of 8 yards for Darren Flutie. Last season, put up his 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard receiving season.
When Calgary's playing in the zone defense, Darren Flutie excels because he knows how to read the defenses. He's just going to work off the linebacker, get in the open area, and catch the ball. But Danny McManus right now is getting tons of time in that pocket. He's looking at 2 and 3 receivers down the field. Credit to that reconstructed offensive line.
Second down at the long two for the Lions.
Early movement. And the give is to the new fullback, Paul Blackwood. Flags are down. Blackwood is close to a first down. Looked like the Calgary Stampeders jumped as McManus was trying to draw them offside. Paul Blackwood, a first-year player out of Cincinnati, yet another Dave Ritchie connection as he gets a player from his old school.
Offside. Calgary. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It was everybody.
Yeah, you didn't get a number there because pretty much the whole defensive line for the Stamps jumped on that play.
And Matt Finley, who calls the defensive signals for the Calgary Stampeders, now sees the Lions across midfield at the Stampeder 54. Philpott. He's got room to the outside. A first down and then some Finally forced out of bounds to the 42 by Alondra Johnson. But it's a gain of 13 yards, his longest rush of the football game. Philpott came in averaging 5.5 yards a carry.
See Matt Finley moving to that middle linebacker position. He's one of the solid guys in that middle, and look at him do the nice job on Sinclair in the middle to get him down. But Philpott's got that great speed to the outside and got down the sideline.
Midway through the third quarter, it's a 5-point Calgary lead. Philpott again. This time not much. Will Johnson got there to slow his progress along with Alondra Johnson to limit the gain to 4 yards. Alondra Johnson turns 30 tomorrow, a former BC Lion. He's one of 7 former Lions playing for the Calgary Stampeders tonight.
You know, Gord, right now, BC Lions haven't been running the ball up to this point in the game, but I'll tell you what this does. It'll open up that play-action pass that was successful early in the first quarter.
6 defensive backs for Calgary. McManus throws it over the middle, and Flutie had it for a moment, but the throw was low, and Flutie could not hang on. Gerald Vaughn was there on the coverage.
Yeah, this really was a ball that Darren Flutie, it was a tough catch to make because he had great coverage on him by Gerald Vaughn. You see Flutie working on Vaughn. He's going to try and get inside Vaughn. He bounces to the outside on the fake, and then Vaughn is right on that inside hip. And the ball has to be perfectly thrown low and away, and Flutie just can't come up with the catch.
Number 5,
Lou Pasaglia from the 45.
Field goal attempt.
Kind of a wobbly one. It's wide. And Marvin Coleman, under instructions from the Calgary bench, will surrender a single point. The Calgary lead is cut to 4. In a seesaw battle at McMahon Stadium on the CFL Live.
There are no prizes for making someone smile. No tributes for unlocking life's little mysteries. But to the men who give their best every day, we give our best. Gillette Sensor XL. Spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to your face, and soft, flexible microfins that set up your beard, and Gillette Series Aftershave Conditioner to moisturize your skin. Sensor XL for the closest, most comfortable shave ever. Gillette, the best a man can get.
At the Keg, we welcome you to be our guest for a night of fun, steaks on the grill, and lots of juicy details. That's why people keep coming back to the Keg. Great steaks, good friends. See you tonight.
Welcome back. Huge trade in the major leagues of baseball. No, it was not the Toronto Blue Jays dumping David Cohn or Joe Carter or Paul Molitor, for that matter. It was the Cincinnati Reds and the San Francisco Giants. Neon Deion Sanders and 4 minor leaguers go to San Fran for pitchers Mark Portugal, Dave Burba, and Darren Lewis. Sanders, in 33 games this season, he was hitting .240, 10 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases. Let's get back to the football game as Gordon Glenner standing by.
Yeah, I guess Deion Sanders, if he re-signs with San Francisco in the NFL, can buy a house now in the Bay Area. There's a guy that is bitterly disappointed. Bruce Covington suffered a severe shoulder injury, a torn tendon. The surgery required the doctors to cut through a great deal of muscle. It'll be 7 months before he can lift a weight, never mind do any kind of physical activity. The left tackle sorely missed by Calgary. Flutie with the give off to the fullback, and Sean Daniels puts his head down for a gain of 4 yards, maybe. Sean Daniels, the 7-year veteran of the Canadian Football League, was actually traded to Saskatchewan by Hamilton for a draft pick. The Ticats took Pete Giftopoulos. 2nd and 6. Flutie. And complete over there for Terry Vaughn. David Sapunjas thought it was for him, but Terry Vaughn ended up making the catch and taking a shot from Charlie Gordon.
Good job by Vaughn to concentrate on that pass, because Robert Davis from the halfback position in the zone jumps up and gets his hand in the way, but Vaughn keeps concentration, then takes the hit, hangs on to the ball as he goes out of bounds.
A pickup of 10 for a Calgary first down. Flutie setting up the screen, knocked up in the air and now caught by the center, Jamie Crysdale. How good is that?
Now wait a minute, Gord. When Flutie said he wanted to have a lot of 1,000-yard receivers in the league, did he mean one of his linemen as well?
Wow.
Flutie's going to try and set up the screen here, but the Lions are in man-to-man defense, and Henry Newby, who's been all over the football tonight, gets his big hands up there, knocks the ball up in the air, and Crosdale comes up with it and does not a bad job running with the football. See Tommy Europe coming up to get involved. Now he's thinking, oh my, I have to tackle this big lineman.
Now, of course, it's not legal to throw a pass directly to a lineman, but when that ball was tipped up in the air, it's now legal. It's a gain of 11 yards for Jamie Crysdale. And now we've got an injured player down on the field. And it appears to be linebacker Shelton Quarles, number 31.
Boy, they hate to lose Quarles. They really hate to lose Quarles, his ability to cover.
Man, they got a couple of great players, and you can see the defensive back Robert Davis, number 7, talking to him. Davis and Quarles, both from Vanderbilt and both from the Nashville area, know each other well from high school days. And the BC Lions, thanks to Eric Tillman's connections in the Deep South, they used to run the Senior Bowl game down there, got a couple of great players out of Vandy. Both Robert Davis and Shelton Quarles are first-year starters for this team.
And he's limping noticeably. It looks like that knee and on that scrum, it looks like he got cut a little bit, and his knee is definitely the problem.
At least he's putting weight on it.
Yeah, anytime you see those knees, though, that makes the coach worry.
Dave Ritchie dressed 8 linebackers for this game primarily because of special teams. He felt his team did not do a good job on special teams last week, so he wanted linebackers out there on. The gain of 11 by Jamie Crysdale. I never thought I'd say that. Gives Calgary a first down. Flutie gets it up to Tony Stewart. And Stewart dragged down at the 36-yard line to pick up of 10, and Henry Newby was up to make the stop. And Tony Stewart came into this game with 12 catches on the year. And it looks like the Calgary Stampeders will move into their hurry-up offense now. Stewart now with 2 catches for 26 yards tonight. Under 4 minutes to play, as you see Shelton Quarles getting checked. Under 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Flutie, near side, same play. And Stewart appears to have another first down as he fights his way down to the 26.
And I'll tell you what's happening here, Gord. Quarles goes out. He's their best covering linebacker with his great speed. We saw him cover Stewart early. Now, it's Henry Newby that has to cover Stewart. He's better known for his pass rushing ability. Stewart's working on him twice now in a man-to-man defense, and Newby's respecting his speed and giving him a lot of room. So we're seeing Flutie go right at the mismatch in the injury situation for the Lions.
First and 10. Stewart again on the linebacker. That time they held it up, so they throw to Pee-wee Smith. Pee-wee's got a lane and down to the 15-yard line. Charlie Gordon made the stop. There's a flag down late and another fight. Brian Ford was in there for the BC Lions. And it looked like there were again punches thrown. And that time in the middle of it again was Denny Chronopoulos. And remember, moments ago, it appeared Tom Europe threw a punch at Chronopoulos, the former BC Lion.
And there's another flag that's flying right now. People talking in there.
Wow. Our tempers boiling over at McMahon Stadium. 30,000 plus here on a gorgeous night and a tremendous football game.
First place on the line, and these teams are fired up.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Calgary number 53. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 48. Objectionable conduct, BC number 29.
Enos Jackson came in and said something late. The extra penalty goes against the BC Lions and should move the Calgary Stampeders closer. We're going to take another look at this and see what exactly happened in that altercation.
Yeah, big Denny Chronopoulos on the right of your screen there. After the throw, he flies over there and he wants to get a little revenge on the hit. Hits
nailed
Henry Newby, or Ford, right in the back, and gets the objectionable conduct. But the penalty that kills him is the mouth penalty, the talking afterwards.
Now BC's having trouble getting the right number of people on the field. Looks like a fire drill out there. They've got the right number of guys out there, but they might not have the ones out there that they want. Six defensive backs for BC. First and goal from the 8. Flutie keeps. Throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Alan Pitts. His second tonight. And Alan Pitts is now alone in 10th place on the CFL all-time receiving touchdown list.
And I tell you, that Doug Flutie is going to look for his #1 receiver in these situations because he's got the man-to-man defense that he wants, and he's got it on rookie Robert Davis. You put a first-year guy in there and ask him to cover the best receiver in the league in Alan Pitts, and it's quite the task. And Pitts just works, gets underneath on that out pattern, and puts the Stamps ahead.
That's Pitts' 65th career touchdown catch. He's now tied with former BC Lion Jim Young. The point after is good. Pitts moves even with dirty 30. And it's 35-24, Calgary leading BC. And Alan Pitts and Doug Flutie, a familiar combination, striking again. How many times have you seen that?
Boy, we have heard, and I have seen it many, many times. But the thing that Alan Pitts gives you is he's a big, huge target, but he also has great speed and excellent hands. And you saw the nice move he did early in that play on Robert Davis to make him turn his shoulders to the inside, and then he breaks back to the out. And celebration begins for Alan Pitts. And yet another touchdown for him in the 1995 season. Of course, 21 touchdowns last year, which was a CFL record, and now Pitts is on pace to break his own record.
35-24 Calgary leads. Flutie is now 25 of 39 for 358 yards in the football game, and we've got lots to come because the BC Lions look like they were down and out earlier. They're a long way from gone just yet. Danny McManus is dying to get back to work for the Lions.
And let's not forget that Danny McManus and his BC Lions are a come-from-behind football team. They're calm when they're behind, and this one is not over yet.
Calgary Stampeders have the BC Lions right where the Lions want them. There, this is Spencer McClellan. Up to the 33-yard line as the Lions get set to go back to work.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by The Keg, where good friends get together to enjoy great steaks and share some fun.
Welcome back to Calgary, where Danny McManus and Doug Flutie have been shooting it out. Flutie has 3 touchdown passes tonight, 10 on the season. And McManus maybe hasn't been as impressive statistically as Flutie, but that's Danny McManus. On first down, McManus steps up, and it was dropped. And so was Mike Trevathan late, and there's the flag.
Yeah, you're going to get the late hit on Greg Knox on Mike Trevathan. It was, again, one of those things. How many steps does he take after the ball is dropped to make this hit?
Well, George Black thought it was more than 2.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 8, first down.
This game needs a ringside physician.
Boy, these guys want to take the shots every chance they get, but you'll see Trevathan coming across the middle, in the middle of your screen right there, and he drops the football, but then 1, 2, 3, 4 steps before he lowers the boom on Trevathan. Tempers are flaring on this football field, and they want to get the shots in when they can. That one was too late. Cost his team.
Oh, look out. McManus is in trouble, but he got it away from Philpott, and Trump moves into Kobe.
can't believe Danny McManus got that ball off because the pressure was coming and he really didn't have anyone to throw to. He just threw a dart to Corey Philpott, who knocked the ball down, but it just saves possession for the BC Lions because that one could have been a huge loss.
Well, we have a moment. We'd like to say hello to someone in Vancouver that we're pretty sure is watching. Former Ottawa and BC offensive lineman Jim Mills, who was the victim of a pretty serious car accident. We hear Jimmy is recovering nicely. And all of us at TSN wish you a speedy recovery. Second down, look out. McManus is in trouble. He is down. Alondra Johnson with the sack. It's the first for Calgary tonight. The Stampeders came in leading the league in sacks.
Number 51,
Alondra Johnson celebrating his 30th birthday a day early.
Yeah, you'll see Alondra Johnson right here is going to come off the corner, and he's unblocked. And you cannot leave a guy with this kind of ability unblocked coming in there straight off the bat on Danny McManus. No chance for McManus to get that ball off. Big sack for Johnson. You got to block him.
The loss of 10. Pasaglia back to punt. Oh, great kick by Pasaglia. Coleman all the way back to the 23. And he's got nowhere to go initially and finally gets ridden out of bounds, and there's some late work again down there. And look who's right in the middle of it, Henry Newby, who's been the center of attention so much tonight. This time there are no flags. And Doug Flutie comes back to go to work. And Flutie's having another Doug Flutie night, 25 of 39 for 358 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's thrown 2 interceptions tonight. He had thrown only 1 coming into the football game.
And Doug Flutie said earlier in the game on that interview that he wants to not hurt his football team and be consistent every game out, and boy, is he ever.
Of the top 10 quarterbacks all time in the CFL passing, Doug Flutie has the fewest number of interceptions. Flutie over the middle for Pitts, wide open, waiting for blocks, and Pitts still setting him up, gets up to the 44-yard line. And it's a gain of 15 yards for Alan Pitts, who was stifled for a while, but is now broken loose with 4 seconds to play in the third quarter.
And Alan Pitts is
oof, look at that.
Unbelievable start to the season. Can he do any better than he's done in the past?
5 catches tonight for 74 yards. Here's Sapungis wide open. And Sapungis across midfield into BC territory at the 52. Henry Newby made the stop on what should be the final play of the third quarter.
The other half of the dynamic duo for the Calgary Stampeders. If it's not Pitts catching the ball, Pitts works deep and allows Sapungis just to sit in the short zone there and catches the ball and makes some yards on his own.
Calgary enjoying an 11-point lead over the BC Lions. But the Lions are just getting warmed up. The fourth quarter is coming up.
Welcome back to CFL Control. Wild game there in McMahon. We'll get back to it in just a few moments' time. Time now to bring you up to date on a little baseball. After getting whooped in their past 2 games, the Toronto Blue Jays were happy to see Seattle roll into town, especially Eddie Sprague. Bases loaded. He'll go deep in the bottom of the third. It's gone, a grand slam. That's his 2nd career grand slam. 2nd of the season, and he tears up the Solomon Torres pitch. Top of the 8th, the Mariners fighting back. Edgar Martinez. He'll step up and drive this ball to the right side. That'll score Rich Amaro. It goes all the way to the wall. That cuts the lead to 4-3. But the Toronto Blue Jays hang on to win. 4-3 is your final. Edwin Hurtado with his first ever Major League start, and he comes up with the win. He is now 2-0 on the year. The Jays went into tonight's action 11 games back. Now, the Montreal Experts were in Pittsburgh tonight. The Spos had won 9 of their last 11 games. It is now tied 6-6 in the 11th inning of play. And Carlos Perez, who was 8-2 on the year, got the start for the Spos. Would you believe they're up 6-4 in the top of the ninth, but Mel Rojas blew the save? We'll update the game as it progresses. That'll do it for now. Let's go back as we head to McMahon for the fourth quarter of play.
Yeah, the fourth quarter, Darren, has been the Lions' quarter this year, but the Calgary Stampeders have done pretty well in the fourth quarter of the season themselves. They've outscored their opponents 24-2 in the fourth. And the fourth quarter is where the BC Lions make their money. You know, last year, of course, everyone talked about Darren Flutie, that great catch in the end zone. The catch before that was outstanding. You see Shelton Quarles back into the game now for BC. That's a big return for the Lions. First and 10 Calgary from the 52. Tony Stewart got a big block in front of him. Bruce Beaton, he's still going down inside the 40 to the 39. The safety man, Tom Europe, made the stop. Bruce Beaton threw the great block to set him free. It was a pickup of 12. And now the numbers through three quarters. And the penalties, 119 yards for the Lions, but Calgary's had a few more as well. Calgary has 387 passing yards in the football game and has had the football for 8 more minutes. Flutie. He sees an alley. There's a flag down. And Flutie dives to the 25-yard line. Shelton Quarles jumped on top of him after Flutie went down, and it's coming back. Holding wipes out a 14-yard gain by Doug Flutie.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be on Beaton, the newcomer on the left side. He's, of course, replacing Tuna, the big Tuna with the shoulder injury.
Holding, Calgary number 64. First down repeated.
You're going to see the left tackle right here. Beaton is going to get the holding call off the edge. Drop back, and Doug Flutie's going to take off right up the middle, but you'll see the holding right there on Virgil Robertson, and that's going to bring that one back.
All the way back to the 50.
20, Calgary, back to the 50.
Flutie from the shotgun. Quick throw, pitch is open. And close to a first down at the BC 30. A gain of 19 yards. Man, there's just no stopping him.
Well, it's so tough to stop the combination of Flutie and Pitts, because when you play man-to-man, he's got the great ability to get open. You play zone, he'll find the little hole. Right now, the Lions are playing zone, and he finds the hole. It's in front of Europe, but in behind the linebackers. And, boy, it starts to get frustrating if you're on defense.
This Flutie under center. Don't see that very much. It's second and short. That's why, and he gave it up to Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
Now, most teams, most defensive coordinators would tell you that playing strictly zone defense against Flutie in this offense, you'll get killed, right?
Well, that's exactly what they'll say. So then what do? You play man-to-man, and you have to have a guy cover Alan Pitts.
So what did you do in Saskatchewan?
Well, what you try and do is keep your offense on the field and keep Doug Flutie on the sideline. That's pretty much the only way you can do it.
Okay. He's out there now with a first down. 3 receivers to the near side. Flutie. Sapunjas over the middle. And David Benefield makes the stop, but Sapunjas gets up to the 20, and now we've got another late hit with Rocco Romano taking a flying run at Shelton Quarles. A pickup of 8 for Sapunjas brings up 2nd and 2.
And when things are going good for your team, they go real good. Obviously a mix-up there because Alan Pitts and Dave Sapunjas are in the same Coke bottle, they say. And somebody made a mistake there, but hey, when things are going well, they're going well. And Dave Sapunjas comes up with the reception, even though there was a mistake made in the pattern.
Now option. Poor Tony Stewart. He had to stretch out for that catch. Check that as Sean Daniels and Doug Flutie running option.
Yeah, and this is a real good play that he's run a lot in the past. I remember him scoring a couple of touchdowns on us in Regina on this very same play, but Virgil Robertson does a nice job to string it out, and then he has to make the pitch, and hey, Sean Daniels comes up with a big catch, or that's a turnover going the other way.
And Flutie is steamed. He'll have to hold now for Mark McLaughlin on the field goal attempt from the 30.
Mark McLaughlin attempts the 30-yard field goal.
And McLaughlin puts it up and good. The Calgary Stampeders extend their lead to to 14 points with 11:34 to play in the fourth. BC Lions have their comeback cut out for them.
Out on the ice, I don't score points for how my hair looks. But after the game, in front of the press, when the cameras are just inches away and millions of fans are watching, my hair has to look great. And great hair can't have flakes. No way. So I get rid of them with Head & Shoulders. Keeps my dandruff in check and my hair looking great. Hey, you can't hide under a helmet all the time.
Head & Shoulders, every day.
With great hair, can't have flakes.
Citizens living in the grip of fear. A justice system littered with criminals. The evil underworld of the city infesting the streets. It's time to take out the trash. In Sega's Adventures of Batman and Robin video game, vile villains are bent on trashing Gotham City. Fight through incredible 3D animation as Batman or Robin, or team up against the Joker and other vermin. The Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Welcome back. Remember last year, the Shreveport Pirates, desperate for victories. Bjorn Nitmo hits the field goal. They beat the Argos. Nitmo goes nuts. Tomorrow, they will do it all again, and we will have that game for you right here on TSN. It is an 8 o'clock start Eastern time. Hey, we still don't know if Kent Austin or Eric White's going to go in that game. Back to Gordon Glenn.
A big crowd here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. A busy day in sports. In southern Alberta, Joel Otto today signed a free agent contract with the Philadelphia Flyers. Of course, the Stampeders taking on the BC Lions in this Western Final rematch. They've had lots to talk about, and they're trying to rename the Olympic Sandloman here in Calgary, and there's been a big fight over that, too. Here's Corey Philpott from the 15. Philpott just tripped up. Great play by Kevin Reed to trip up Philpott, and there's late flags down again. That time, it looked like Greg Frères and Robert Davis.
Greg Frères backup safety and a special teams guy. Boy, it is intense out here right now. It's an all-out war.
And here's the call from George Black.
Major foul, face mask, British Columbia number 7. First down.
Yikes. That's what caused it. Davis got his hand on the mask.
And Davis gets his hands up in the mask, and that's the penalty, and penalties hurt the Lions again. Most penalized team coming in, so Danny McManus has to work some miracles, and hey, he's done it before.
Danny McManus was 13 of 20 in the first half. So far in the second, he's 2 of 9. They start from their own 16. McManus stands in there and has his man as he completes it over the middle of Robert Gordon. And Gordon has a BC first down up at the 35-yard line. Marvin Coleman made the stop. It's a gain of 19.
Boy, McManus just threw that. He threw a bullet in there to Gordon. You're going to see a zone defense from the Calgary Stampeders, and Gordon's going to work into the middle of that zone in front of the safety and in behind Alondro Johnson. And what a shot by McManus to sneak it in there. Goes right in the needle.
Now McManus is looking deep. It's a foot race, and Gordon almost took it away from Marvin Coleman, and Coleman was there with perfect coverage.
It really was perfect coverage by Coleman on the sideline. Of course, he was the victim of the pass interference call on Gordon early. They tried the same pattern, streaking him down the sideline, but stride for stride is Coleman. He looks back at the ball at the perfect time and gets that left hand in there. You know, if you put your hands up and you're not looking back, it's a pass interference call for screening, but Coleman looked back to the quarterback and back to the ball and knocks it down.
Your man out of Central State, Ohio. There's big schools, there's small colleges, and then there's micro schools. And then there's offside. Every official on the field, I believe, threw his flag. I think everybody saw that. It looked like Kenny Walker jumped offside. No, he was drawn off by the BC Lions. There you go.
Well, a lot of penalties in this football game.
There have been a ton.
Seizure, British Columbia number 14. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the second.
They got McManus. Head bob.
Yeah, and sometimes the quarterback will try and draw you offside, and
he just
backed up early.
Forgot something. That's the 17th penalty of the game to BC. Calgary has been flagged 14 times. 31 penalties so far. McManus. Kind of a one-hopper for Robert Gordon. And that might have been the result of a pass rush from Lubo Zizakovic, who got into Danny McManus' face, and Danny's got a thing or two to say on the way up. And now Ian Sinclair and Matt Finley are having words. Sinclair, the 11-year veteran. He and Lou Pasaglia are the only two BC Lions who have 2 Grey Cup rings from BC. They were members of the '85 championship team as well. And Wally Buono, who proudly wears his 1977 Montreal Grey Cup ring, watches as Lou Pasaglia punts it away. Coleman from the 47. Didn't fool anyone there, but his Calgary Stampeders have a 14-point lead and will get the ball back when we return to McMahon Stadium on the CFL Live.
A whole paper towel can be too much or too little. Now there's new Selecticize, the Bounty you customize. Special smaller sheets. The quicker picker-upper lets you pick out 1 sheet for small jobs, 2 sheets for regular jobs, 3 sheets for large jobs, and it's 50% longer than Jumbo Bounty. New Selecticize, the Bounty you customize.
The quicker picker-upper.
New Bounty Selecticize.
Grandpa, do you remember your first Pepsi?
1926 at Homer's General Store. Pepsi number 2, cheap seats. Wrigley Field. Pepsi 812, the stock market crash. Pepsi 3922, spam was invented. 14,030, your dad repeated 3rd grade. And this is Pepsi 21,004, Kathy.
Kelly.
Kelly?
Kelly.
I knew that. I think I knew that.
The Canadian Football League 1995 Facts, Figures, and Records Book. It's your source for the landmark play, the vital stats, the award-winning players, the complete rules, and the outstanding performances, all the way to the Grey Cup. To order your copy, call 1-800-667-1251.
Dave Ritchie's BC Lions trail Calgary 38-24. Of course, a victory last year at McMahon Stadium in the Western Final sent his team to the Grey Cup, and there's what they got for winning the CFL championship. The BC Lions 1994 Grey Cup rings, and it's only week 4 of the season, so lots of guys are still wearing them. In fact, Corey Philpott wore his in practice yesterday. Flags are down. Flutie should get a free play. Out of the backfield for Tony Stewart. Across midfield, look at hammer. Shelton Quarles and Henry Newby hit him. And the gain should stand, as it appeared the BC Lions had jumped offside.
Offside, British Columbia number 11. Penalty is declined. First down.
Yeah, it's right on the top of your screen. Bennyfield's going to jump offside. It's about his 3rd offside of the game, and Doug Flutie doing a nice job of staggering up that snap count. A lot of times he'll stagger it and draw those guys off.
I got a question for George Black. How many M's in British Columbia? Flutie looking for Pitts. Oh, he almost made the catch. He wants pass interference. Tony Collier was back there on the coverage. And Pitts almost made the great catch. How many thousand corner routes has he run in his CFL career?
This is his best route. He's going to take you inside, and then he's going to break back to the corner route. And Tony Collier doing a nice job. First, you got to catch up to the receiver, and then you got to put your hands up. And he just did enough of a peek to look back at the quarterback, so it's not pass interference, but a good job by Collier to first catch up to his receiver and then check back.
Second down and 10. Yeah, I'll tell you, defensive guys, huh? Second down. Big defensive play for BC. Flutie. Guns it out there and incomplete. He was looking for Pee Wee Smith. And the coverage from Eddie Thomas was perfect. And Flutie has to leave the field now. Kind of a decision now for Wally Buono. You want to try the field goal? It'll be a long one, 56 yards. There's not much of a wind here tonight. And it's Tony Martino. Hey, Tony Martino.
You know, he's going to be able to take his uniform off at the end of the game and just walk straight out of the stadium. He hasn't, he's not even sweating.
George Hopkins might even have to wash it. Wow. Tony wears one of those telephone helmets. Well, great punt. And no choice for Spencer McLennan but to retreat to his end zone. A 51-yard punt by Tony Martino. Hey, all that rest did him some good. 38-24 is the score. We've got a flag down on the play, and it appears to be against, the BC Lions. But I think the Calgary Stampeders will be happy to take the punt by Tony Martino. .8:26 to play in the fourth quarter, and Calgary enjoys the lead.
We're in a garbage crisis. One reason McCain chose to pack their juices in these aseptic boxes rather than non-refillable glass bottles. 1 liter aseptic packages use 88% less material than non-refillable glass, generate 85% less solid waste, consume 62% less energy. Plus, it would take 30 trucks to ship 1 million empty 1 liter glass bottles to their factories and just 2 to ship the equivalent in aseptic packaging.
McCain made their choice for the environment.
Our favorite product is a new product we just put on the market, and it's Canadian-style veggie back bacon. Creating something totally new that didn't exist before. Long distance is a major expense in our company. The Advantage saving plan is much more competitive, and based on the last 4 or 5 years, our price has come down 35 to 40%. And it saves us money we can reinvest in R&D and in expanding the distribution of our product.
Well, the BC Lions keep you waiting right to the end. Their last 6 wins, all but the one against Memphis, have been close. You know what's interesting about the playoffs last year? Coming into the playoffs last season, Lou Pasaglia had never kicked a game-winning field goal in a postseason game. He kicked one against Edmonton, and then against Calgary, they had the touchdown by Flutie, and then in the Grey Cup game, Lou Pasaglia again had to kick a game-winning field goal.
That's an amazing stat for the amount of years that Louis Pasaglia has played, that he never kicked a winning field goal in a playoff game.
You know what's even more amazing? When Lou Pasaglia began his CFL career, Gerald Ford was the president of the United States. Yikes.
And you know who he beat out that year to make the team? Eddie Murray, who plays in the NFL.
Right. I thought you were going to ask me Gerald Ford. Beat by Jimmy Carter. First and 10 from the 35 after the single point. And the give goes to the fullback, Ryan Hansen, and nothing doing. And Corey Philpott has been a very quiet man in the BC Lion offense so far tonight. Philpott has 8 carries for 19 yards.
So this #1 defense, this is usually where this defense will just pin their ears back and take off. They got a bit of a lead. Calgary is, of course, used to playing defensively with a bit of a lead when you have Doug Flutie on the other sideline, and they're going to pin their ears back and take off, trying to get McManus.
2nd down and 9 for the Lions.
McManus fires it down there to the 45-yard line. It is intercepted by Marvin Coleman. And Coleman off and running. Touchdown! 43 yards. And the hole's getting pretty deep now for the BC Lions.
Yeah, they're the comeback kids, but I don't know. It's insurmountable now, it looks like, but what a play by Marvin Coleman.
Hey, there's your favorite horse.
Oh boy, I got tired of seeing that horse run around the field when I was in Saskatchewan, but really not McManus's fault. He throws it low and away here, the ball tips up, and Coleman on the concentration scoops it off the turf, but bigger play than that was his ability to avoid tackles. He missed, McManus misses there. He's going down the sideline, makes a couple. Jamie Taras miss on the sideline, cuts back in for the big run back and the touchdown. And that pretty much buries the BC Lions.
The point after is good. And the Calgary Stampeders are giving everyone a workout. Who is the leading rusher in the Canadian Football League? The Horse. And the Stamps had 48 passing touchdowns last year. This guy went over 2,000 yards.
You know, sometimes when we were playing the Calgary Stampeders here, I thought that horse was going to pass out. It made so many laps around the field.
21 points for the Calgary Stampeders tonight on BC turnovers. And Marvin Coleman with the interception.
And what a run by Marvin Coleman, avoiding tackles, missing tackles, little dipsy doodle. And hey, after that one, let's see a little celebration. Here it comes. Now that's a dance. 4 knockdowns for Coleman in 1995, and that was his first interception. What a big one to put the icing on the cake for the Calgary Stampeders. Looks like we have an injury on the field right now, too, Gord. Looks like Jamie Crysdale's hurt.
And Crysdale, the center for the Calgary Stampeders, a former BC Lion. He was part of the trade that sent Danny Barrett to BC. And he appears to have suffered an injury to his left arm.
That's right, and he moved over to center when Doug Davies went to Hamilton, because Davies was playing the center here in Calgary. But Boy Bono real happy with the way he's been playing center for him, and does not want to lose another offensive lineman this early in the football season.
See Crysdale holding that arm at the awkward angle that always tells you it's a shoulder. And veteran athletic therapist Pat Clayton, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Yeah, right on target.
43 points a game. That's pretty amazing. All the weapons these Calgary Stampeders have, boy, you just can't give them any chances, and if they do, they sure take advantage of it.
Change for the BC Lions on their kickoff return teams. Corey Philpott no longer out there. We'll have to check and see if perhaps Philpott is injured. Here's Eddie Thomas from the 10. Thomas gets up to the 35-yard line, where he gets whacked by Raymond Biggs. Well, we talked about the game story. The Stamps led big early until the Lions came back. Alan Pitts has a couple of touchdowns, and the Stamps have really rolled in the second half. We talked about the advantage they've had over their opponents, particularly in the fourth quarter. They've allowed only 2 fourth-quarter points all season. That's phenomenal.
And teams are so frustrated by the fourth quarter, usually playing against these Calgary Stampeders, that it's even tougher to put points on the board.
Now down 22, the BC Lions need points, and now. And McManus almost intercepted, but what a great grab by Darren Flutie. And they're calling it no catch as the ball came out.
Well, I tell you, that would have been one heck of a catch by Flutie. There were hands and bodies all over that football, somehow snuck through. But that would have been some catch. You see Alondra Johnson jumps up. You see Gerald Bond cutting across. Flutie juggles it, tries to maintain possession, and then it pops out.
That was a catch.
I don't know. Like a juggle. You got to have possession.
He did.
You gotta stop rotation of the football.
You said the ground can't make you fumble. Oh, man. Second down. McManus over the middle. That's a catch. Robert Gordon into Calgary territory to the 48-yard line. And it's coming back. A holding call against BC. Yikes.
Yeah, it really has been the story of the game for the BC Lions. They had a lot of drives stopped by penalties.
20th penalty of the game to the BC Lions.
Major foul, face mask, British Columbia number 60. Repeat, second down.
They're going to start calling them the Gerrard Street Bullies.
Jamie Taras gets called there on the face mask, and usually what happens there for the offensive linemen is that they get their hands up onto the chest, and then as the rush continues, they slide their hands up into the face mask, and sometimes it's unintentional, but still, all face mask is still holding penalty.
Second down now, 25 yards to go, and McManus wants it all and almost intercepted. Trevathan wants pass interference, but Marvin Coleman timed his jump perfectly, and the BC Lions will be forced to punt.
A lot of great plays by this Marvin Coleman. He's coming in with 9 tackles, got his first interception for a touchdown of the season in the last drive, and then you said it, Gord, perfect timing on this seam route as he plants it, jumps up over in perfect timing, gets his hand on the ball, and a bit of the receiver on his way through, and a great play by Coleman.
Saglia sends that down to Pee-wee Smith, who finally picks it up. There's all kinds of flags down. That should be no yards against BC. A punt of 50 yards and a return of 1. 5:32 now to play in the fourth quarter. So the Calgary Stampeders will look to go to 4-0. This is a team that over the last 2 seasons has gone 30-6 in the regular season, 2-2 in the playoffs.
Yeah, they want to change that. You know, you've talked, a lot of the Calgary Stampeders yesterday and today in interviews were saying, hey, we're already focusing on those playoffs. They know they have a good football team. They feel they have the confidence that they're going to be in the playoffs, and boy, they want to have a better effort when it comes down to it, because this guy, Wally Buono, knows how fragile winning and losing is, and it comes down to a one-game show. It's just which team is ready to play.
Holding, Calgary number 44. No yards, British Columbia. 5-yard penalty on the no yards, 5-yard difference, first down.
You know, it's interesting here in Calgary because the question for sports reporters is pretty simple. You're going to win in the playoffs? It's for the Flames and the Stampeders. First thing they asked Pierre Pagé when he got the Flames job this week. It's the thing they've been asking Wally Buono all year. First down. Flutie steps up, and he's in trouble. And he was looking sort of for Terry Vaughn. What he wanted to do more was get that away before Glenn Scrivener tattooed him. And Scrivener has a laugh with Flutie and says, I almost got you.
Yeah, and you know he wanted to. No matter what the score is, you still want to try and get a shot defensively on this guy.
Flutie said to me yesterday, he says, defensive linemen hate it when they get within a step of you and they can't get you. And then he smiled and says, I love doing that to them.
Well, he's the toughest one that I have ever seen in trying to make a tackle. I went on a couple of safety blitzes and tried to chase him around in my career, and boy, he's like chasing a rabbit.
He's like 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage a lot of the times that he throws the ball as well, and that makes a big difference. From the shotgun, he'll often backpedal 7 yards. Robert Davis is the injured BC Lion. They're checking the calf area, so it looks like it might be a cramp. And we talked about how busy Pat Clayton has been over the years for the Calgary Stampeders. Well, BC's athletic therapist Bill Reichelt hasn't been bad himself. He worked for the Vancouver Canucks over the winter and comes right back with the BC Lions. So a Grey Cup ring and a trip to the Stanley Cup Finals for Bill over the last year and a half or so. And as they check him out, we can check in on the Doug Flutie watch. 427 yards passing in this football game, and now Doug Flutie is approaching 1,500 yards on the season. It's week 4, folks.
And after 4 games, only 3 interceptions.
The average quarterback will throw 3 interceptions for every 100 attempts. Doug Flutie has tried more than 150 passes. He's been picked off twice. 3 times. Twice tonight. That's amazing. Absolutely astounding.
Second down and 10.
On second down. Look out, Scrivener got it. Finally, the BC Lions got to Doug Flutie, and Scrivener says, I'm going to celebrate because it doesn't happen nearly often enough.
And that's right. And you know, Gord, just the last play, we saw Doug Flutie, and we talked about him joking with Scrivener, saying, I love when they get close and don't get me. Well, Scrivener got a laugh this time because he comes in from the backside and gets Doug Flutie, and I'm sure he'll mention it to him that, hey, you got away with it last time, but this time it was my turn.
Big Glenn Scrivener.
7 sacks in 1994. Boy, they sure are happy with their front 4 in BC.
From William Jewell College in Kansas City. Hey, it's Tony Mark Braves. Been busy in the fourth quarter. Flags are down. And Spencer McClellan's return is likely to be wiped out. He brought it back 8 yards after a 42-yard punt.
Because you wear them till their tongues hang out, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
In a penalty-filled game at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, Danny McManus and the BC Lions made it close, but Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders have blown it open in the fourth quarter. I'm Gord Miller along with Glenn Suter. Darren Detition is back in our CFL Control Center, keeping an eye on all the other news from the world of sports. Tomorrow night, the Edmonton Eskimos will try to keep pace with the Calgary Stampeders as they take on the San Antonio Texans down in San Antonio.
You know, Gord, I think both teams can, even though the score is for Calgary, obviously, I think both teams can be happy with their performances. Both 3-0, but it was a close game, and had it not been for a whole bunch of penalties by the BC Lions, you know, it might have been a lot closer. So they both know they got good football teams and are going to be all the way in it all the way to the end of this season.
Illegal substitution. British Columbia number 82 is declined. We have an illegal block. British Columbia accepted. 10-yard penalty, first down.
I'll tell you what, if George Black gets any more airtime on TSN tonight, we're going to have to get him a jacket.
Yeah, that's a great, well put, because there has been all kinds of penalties, and you know the BC Lions came into the game the most penalized team in the league, so you know that Coach Dave Ritchie is going to be addressing that problem in the next couple of weeks.
In a way only he can.
Yes.
23 penalties to the BC Lions. Here's McManus. They'll have to gun it now. Almost intercepted, looking over the middle for Darren Flutie. Alondra Johnson got his hand in there. And McManus will have to reload with 3:50 to play in the fourth quarter. Hey, tomorrow night we got more action coming your way. John Wells and Leaf Pedersen are down in Louisiana, where they'll see NFL Hall of Famer Forrest Gregg lead his Shreveport Pirates into action against the Toronto Argonauts. Who's it going to be, Ken Austin or Eric White? White was impressive earlier this season.
And Ken Austin is a little dinged up again, so it'll be interesting to see who gets the start.
On second down, quickly they go to Ryan Hansen. And Hansen close to a first down as he dives up to the 43-yard line. Alondra Johnson makes the stop for the Calgary Stampeders. Ryan Hansen from Slippery Rock University. Mike Campbell also went there, the Hamilton Ticats. Hansen gets the starting job at fullback because Sean Millington left in the offseason, but the BC Lions, we mentioned earlier, may get Millington back. He was cut by the San Francisco 49ers today. It was a first down. McManus, he's going for it all. It's a foot race, and Coleman has another interception. Marvin Coleman down at the 20-yard line took it away from Robert Gordon. We're at the 3-minute warning, and the Calgary Stampeder defense might have just put a big red bow on this one.
Citizens living in the grip of fear. A justice system littered with criminals. The evil underworld of the city infesting the streets. It's time to take out the trash. In Sega's Adventures of Batman and Robin video game, vile villains are bent on trashing Gotham City. Fight through incredible 3D animation as Batman or Robin, or team up against the Joker and other vermin. The Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Want to try new Pert Plus?
No way. I tried it years ago. My hair needs a separate conditioner.
This new stuff cleans and conditions better than back then.
But it's still a shampoo and conditioner in one.
True, but while some other two-in-ones only vary the level of the same conditioners, new Pert Plus actually has different conditioning formulas, customized for each hair type.
We'll see. Well, it is actually better. It's really manageable.
New Pert Plus, customized conditioning that's right for you.
Welcome back to CFL Control. Following our football telecast, Gino Retta and Sports Desk will come up. They will have all the highlights from Major League Baseball. The Blue Jays win, the Expos loss, the second round of the British Open. Maybe Jack took another 10 today. Highlights and scores and more. Let's go back to Gordon Glenn.
Yeah, Yeah, when's the last time you saw Jack Nicklaus put a dime on his scorecard? Oof.
Yeah, he was. We saw that he was in the bunker. It took. You know what? I love seeing that every now and then from the pros. You know.
Over 360,000 points in the Johnny Walker Ryder Cup table. His place is surely secure for Oak Hill in September. Clark moving up to 14th from 23rd in that table, and to 14th too from 42nd in the Volvo Order of Merit. But the man who enjoyed himself most in the sun in Ireland was the Murphy's Irish champion, Sam Torrance.
This is TSN.
Tuesday. What if he could be there? What if the greatest game of the season was played out on a sunny afternoon and you weren't there? But we were. Jays Twins. TSN Tuesday.
Superbike sizzle from Montreal. Sunday on TSN Coast to Coast.
But Toronto hasn't missed them. Not yet. Eric White has stepped in and gone 1-1 in his 2 games. A win in Week 2 over Ottawa boosted Argonaut spirits. And after a narrow loss to BC, Toronto must rediscover the momentum. In Shreveport, it's no longer Billy Joe's show. Mike Johnson gets the start tonight, and he'll have to rely on Curtis Mayfield. On the inside, their second-year Pirate Wayne Walker, and how about speedy Freeman Basinger? The injured Argos may be just what the doctor ordered.
CFL Live. Tonight's game from Independence Stadium in Shreveport, Louisiana. The Toronto Argonauts versus the Shreveport Pirates.
Good evening and welcome to the CFL Live on TSN. I'm Darren DeTitian. Glad you could join us for tonight's telecast. Kent Austin will start for the Toronto Argonauts after all. Last week against the Lions, Austin pulled his hamstring and was questionable for this evening's contest, but he is obviously healthy enough to start. Now, the same can't be said for Billy Joe Tolliver, and it has nothing to do with his health. Forrest Gregg has regulated Tolliver to the sidelines, giving Mike Johnson the start, and when you're 0-4, you have to do something. It definitely adds an interesting element to tonight's game, a game that both teams are desperate to win. It'll be up to Johnson to lead the attack for Shreveport. He goes up against the Argos defensive backfield, which is led by DB Tommy Henry. He comes into the game second in the league with 3 interceptions. That's just one of the many key matchups this evening. With more on the quarterback situation for both teams, let's go to John Wells and Leif Pedersen. And guys, it was 100 degrees 2 weeks